Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to the second round of the FIDE Grand Prix in Berlin. This is your host Sagar Shah welcoming you to a fun-filled day of chess learning and excitement. Today is the 5th of February and it is also my 8th wedding anniversary. So I will be having a special guest joining in today. You can guess who that would be. Uh, and today is a very important day for Vidit Gujarati because he lost his game yesterday, and this format is so unforgiving that if you do not score a win, you might well be kind of pushed out from the tournament. Okay, too early to say that because there are 6 rounds, double round robin between 4 players. Also for Harikrishna, it is an important game because he has white against Wesley So, but Harikrishna drew his first game, so he is still, all the players in his group are on half point. While in Vidit's group, Aronian is on 1, Vincent and Dubov are on half, and Vidit is on 0. So let's get to the game, and a very warm welcome to everyone here. I hope you are doing well, and let's begin. Yes, happy anniversary. Thank you all for wishing me. Yes, you guessed it right. Amruta will be the special guest today. Because she's not been here since so many days after she had COVID, and she didn't come. She was there for Tata Steel in the first few days. So Vincent Keymer opens the game with 1d4, and Vidit goes knight to f6, c4, e6, knight to f3, d5, knight to c3. Okay, and Vidit plays the move c5. Now this is, we can go to the semi-Slav, but after cd5, Vidit now plays a move that has been championed by Wesley So and many top players. He plays a very different move here. What is it? Can you tell me what is the move that Vidit played in this position? It's because I ask you these questions because you can then remember these opening lines, which can be useful for you. V. Van Broeken says, Brookem says, my name is Vincent. Oh, so nice. Syed Ishaq says, isn't it tough to qualify after losing the first game? True, very true. It will not be easy for Vidit, but if you score like couple of wins, you can be back. So if Vidit can win today and he can win tomorrow against Dubov, he would be back with a chance. Yes, let's see what are the answers that are given here. Yes, C takes D4 is the correct move. Well done by Trumpa De Sarkar, Chess is Fun, Shreya, Sals, Ekansh, SK, Ankit, and account number 2. So he took CD4 here, and now Queen takes D4, ED5, and here one of the main moves here, E4 was played. Now with it took pawn, queen takes queen, king takes, and knight to g5, threatening to take on f7. So how do you protect it? Guys, come on, quickly tell me, how do you save your pawn on f7? Very important move, and in fact the only logical move here. KL Yash says, women's candidates kab hai? The dates have not been published yet, but we already have 8 players in women's candidates, and Humpy is one of them. In fact, we have 1 Indian, 2 Chinese, 2 Ukrainian, and 3 Russians. So it's like all superpowers of chess playing at the women's candidates. Yes, Pushkar Jain, account number 2, Abhinav. Shashwat Parida, your move king e8 seems logical, but after bishop c4, you are in big trouble here. So I do not like that move. Ekansh Aditya, Bhavjit Singh Arora, Manikam, Ritvik Dhawan, well done. Bishop e6 is the correct move here. Vidit plays it. Knight takes e6 was played. F takes e6. Now notice, for giving up your bishop and also spoiling your structure, black has an extra pawn. So bishop g5 is played with the idea of taking this pawn on e4. So Vidit develops with knight to c6 in this position. Well, I'm just a little curious to see as to how many times this opening position has been reached. So let me check in my ChessBase 16 database, ChessBase 16 and live database as to how many times this has happened. So if we go here and see queen d8, king d8, there are 122 games, bishop e6, knight e6, f e6, 104 games, 87 games, and here the main move has been king e8. This has been played by Wesley So, Vityugov, Grachev, many other players. But Vidit went for knight c6, which is the second main move in this position. And a question, by the way, this has already been played between Vidit and Carlsen and Vidit at the Gold Money Asian Rapid. So this has already happened. Also, Aronian versus Vidit has gone this way. So it's going to be interesting from the opening perspective. Okay, I have one question for all of you here. Let me go back to the main board and ask you, what happens in this position if after knight c6, white were to take this pawn on e4? Why is this not a good move? Notice the knight is pinned here, so you cannot take it. So what is a good move in this position? By the way, on the live board here, we have the game of Harikrishna that is going on. So just in case you were curious to know what is happening there, I have put it up. Sagar bhai, can players choose the leg that they are participating? Because I feel VD should have taken a break after Tata Steel. Yes, I think he had written to the organizers. They were asked like which ones are your preference, and I think Vidit had mentioned second and third, but he got this. So I don't know what is the way in which they give it, but this is the second round. Okay, so this, by the way, the move that you all have mentioned is absolutely 100% correct. It is bishop b4 check. Well done, all of you. And black, then can get his king to e7. The rooks are connected, and this is exactly what Vidit wants in this. So well done, all of you. The right answer is given by Hayes, Sals, Mista, Sarvajayan, Prashant, Shreyas, Aryan, Ankit, Jeel, and Shashwat Parida. Well done. So he did not take here. He played the move bishop to c4, and this was already seen before. And while we are checking these moves, we're going to invite our guest today. Hello, Amruta.
Guest of today.
How are you?
Oh, I'm excellent. Had a great time with my husband, so it was amazing. And all of you who have wished us happy anniversary since yesterday night, thank you so much.
But why are you saying husband? I was the one, right? Or you have...
No, right now, like professional, na? You are a commentator.
No.
Acha.
Yeah, I'm a commentator. You are also a commentator, but we will be, it doesn't change that we are husband.
The status doesn't change. Okay.
Yeah. By the way, people in the chat saying, good to see you, Amruta, and everyone's very happy to have you.
Yes, me too. Yeah, bad joke.
Amruta, the thing is, today we are looking at Vidit's game and also Harikrishna's game. Mr. Great 123 says, hi Sagar, just a quick question. Do you think Vidit is experiencing a tilt of some sort after that unfortunate blunder against Shakriyar?
Good question, actually speaking, because it can really affect the next rounds of a player, right?
Yes, I mean, that was a piece blunder made by Vidit, but I think there was enough time for him to recover. I think 4 to 5 days is good enough. I just feel Levon Aronian played an amazing game yesterday to beat Vidit. Like we were all analyzing together. Abhijit Gupta was here. Also, Srinath Narayanan was here. And they all were of this opinion that Vidit should be able to hold. But Aronian was, like finding these little things. And with Vidit coming low on time, I think Vidit in his best form could have held the draw. But yeah,
But
yes.
it's sometimes difficult with players like Aronian who are able to find these intricate ideas and they're very creative on the board.
Yes.
So let's see today. Anyway, he's black right now.
Oh, Amruta, in the Harikrishna game, I will come back to this position, guys. But Harikrishna game, there is a very nice tactic, I believe. And I'm going to ask our viewers here. This is Harikrishna's game right now. Why is rook takes d5 not the best move in the position? Can you find it? It's not horrible to play this move, but it's not at all bad. It's not bad, but it's not the best. So what is the reason? Super comp. Very good. Very quick. Yes, Sal's the music band, but which rook? Which rook? Aha, Kimaya is here. Hello, Kimaya. Good to see you after a long time.
Yeah.
I think she was waiting for you.
Boards. No, I think she's in 12th standard, no?
Ah.
No, maybe I'm wrong. Okay, I found a move.
You found? What's your move, Amrita?
Should I say?
Yes.
Rook a d8.
Rook a d8 or even rook f d8. Both moves are fine.
Actually,
but let's see what our viewers have said. Rook a d8 as well. And I love the fact that they have mentioned a d8. They didn't just say rook d8.
Yeah.
So
इतना अच्छा notation तो एक साल पहले नहीं था. So that's a great
I think overall, Amrita, many of them have improved a lot.
Yes.
And we have Hussein Muhammad YT, Mistadam.
Yeah, account number 2, Prathamesh S, Vikas, Deepak Kanan, Supercom, Abhijit Sahu, Ambika Harikrishna and Prashanti Bari.
Yeah, good job, guys. You got it right. And this is a very nice move because now the queen is hanging here, but you can't take it because your queen will hang.
Yeah, and after rook d1, the bishop on c1 is being pinned and the rook on e5 is absolutely misplaced. So
yeah, so you have to take and queen e2. And now, I guess something like queen d5 is what he's hoping for, or maybe something like that. But I'm not sure actually. It's even possible to play. But his idea is bishop f4, Amrita. So maybe rook d4 stopping bishop f4 can
because
be...
Because a4 you are attacking, and if he goes, let's say something like b3, already there's going to be a lot of compensation after queen c3 maybe. And,
or maybe queen d5 now with the idea of a check here.
If bishop b2, then rook d2.
If bishop b2, rook d2. If bishop e3, then you can take on e5.
So meaning that if you take the d5 pawn, you might become a pawn up for the moment, but too much piece activity for black after rook d8.
So I think
that's why that's not a good move for sure. What else white can do?
This is like Harikrishna like position, Amrita, with a small edge for white. So you don't want
But it's amazing, no? Harikrishna with so Wesley and with such a solid player that it's sometimes difficult to get to slight edges also with him.
I'm very interested to see how Harikrishna managed to get a small edge today. So we can just have a look at the opening as well. Yeah. But first of all, what would be a good way to keep up the pressure here is the question. You don't want to take this and allow rook a d8.
You know what I was thinking?
Yeah.
No, it's not going to be a good idea. b3 is going to weaken the c3 square really horribly, I think.
Yeah,
so
b3 maybe
keep your rook on d3.
Bishop b4.
Yeah, so maybe d5, just keep your rook on d3, light square, then develop your c1 bishop.
Rook d3 is the best move, Amrita, according to the engine.
But it's also logical because you want to develop the c1 bishop.
Yeah.
In a way, it's also like the only positional move which you will look at after rook d5.
And then you play bishop e3 and bishop d4. If you get that, that would be very nice because then you can start pushing your pawn.
Why not bishop d2, kick the queen away and then bishop c3?
That's also possible, yeah.
Hmm.
So that these are some good ideas in the position here, and I think Harikrishna has great chances here today, guys. Bishop e3, bishop d4, f4, f5, bishop d2, bishop c3.
Yes.
So we will come back to this game, Amruta. But going back to Vidit's game,
Yes.
because there we had already started analyzing a few of the opening intricacies. And by the way, this exact position which Vidit had after bishop c4 here, this has already happened
Oh,
in.
so many times, right?
Yes.
Is it the same position which we have seen in the whole tour?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But this one is Vidit versus Aronian, and they played it at Opera Euro Rapid in the Champions Chess Tour. So this has already been seen. Bishop c4, and then Vidit went king e7, knight e4, king f7, took on f6, g takes f6, long castle, and here Vidit went rook to d8. So this is how the game continued, and I think this was also how Vidit versus Aronian continued. I'm going to put up the ChessBase board to just show you that this has been played in 5 games before. Vidit Aronian, Yakuboev, Tabatabai, Yermolinsky, Sokolin, Kiriev, Gray, and Cyrulis Perezvoshikov. So 5 games have been played here. And now after rook d8 was played, knight d8. Again, all the games continued this way. Vidit played bishop e7. And now Vincent went rook d7. So this is a small change from Aronian Vidit, where Aronian had played f4 in the position. So went rook d7. And now f5. And knight d6 check. King f6. They're still following Yermolinsky's game.
Oh, it's the same.
Knight b7, rook b7, bishop c5. So in the opposite colored bishop position, black is a pawn down for now. Rook c7, bishop takes f2, rook c6, and okay, this was I think the first new move by Vincent, rook c7, because here f3 was played in Yermolinsky, which is logical. Yeah, he could have saved the pawn. So let's go back to the game and see how much time it took. Like both players were not blitzing out, like reaching 140. Oh no, the time control is 130.
1 hour 30 minutes.
Yeah. So they are blitzing out. 130. Bishop e7, rook d7, f5. Vidit has 132 on the clock. Knight d6, king f6, 133. Vincent has 129. Vincent is slowing down a bit, but Vidit has like 1 hour 2 minutes extra
But
than what
doesn't matter because look at the number of moves as well. Like
yes,
there is no pressure that way. So rook c7, bishop f2 happened, right?
yeah. The question is, I mean, is f3 a good move here? Could white have saved his pawn? But I think, Amruta, it's not. Maybe Vidit has analyzed this already.
Correct. I mean, it surely right now weakens the e3 square and the g2 pawn. If it will be attacked, you will later have to play g3 as well. Which means then when the h2 is attacked.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you are saying like I can start with h5
or h6. Yeah, h5.
Trying to put pressure, and if you try to attack this bishop, then I can go
E3.
bishop
Directly bishop
g1, h3, and rook g8.
No, but here I think rook c6 would be a problem.
Yes, but rook g2, Amruta, and this is interesting
You are
because
giving the e6 pawn.
and what I'm saying is that look, you have an extra pawn here, but for you to push this and make a queen is going to take a lot of time. Right. Meanwhile, my king is coming in if I can create a passer here, it can get dangerous for you.
Oh, that is also a way to give up the e6 pawn.
Yeah. So that's why rook c7 directly by Vincent. Vidit chopped the pawn, and now rook c6, and Vidit said, I'll save it. So
pawns to equal.
Pawns are equal, and I think the game is drawish in nature, but it's not drawn.
Correct. I think the one of the key things would be black's king is more active than white's king. That is one advantage. And as you said, yeah, the e pawn is actually a passer, which can be way faster than white's pawns.
But somehow, this pin is such that you can't move your king away, you will lose the pawn. And if you come to f7, you will get under this pin. So it's not easy to push.
Right. And even if I go king e5, what next? I cannot leave the attachment with the pawn.
Nice word, attachment. Okay, B4 by Vincent. Vincent is like, look, Vidit, you can't push your pawn, so I'm going to push my pawns and I'm going to make a queen there. Ajay Ji, thank you for becoming promoter of Indian chess. He's our first member of today. And also, Amruta, there was this question by Arshad84. He always asks very hypothetical questions. I don't know if he's writing a book or something. He says Karpov versus Kramnik, who would win both in their primes?
That's learn from classics wala guy.
What do you think? I would say that my feeling is that Kramnik would win because yes, because
I think Karpov.
no, my main reason for saying that is because the newer generation always has an edge over the previous generation. So Kramnik, even though you say both are in their primes, Kramnik has all the knowledge of Karpov in his prime, while Karpov in his prime didn't have the knowledge of the modern day. So if you ask me Carlsen in his prime and Kasparov in his prime, I would still say Carlsen has an edge over Kasparov because Carlsen.
No, can we keep Carlsen aside? He's an exception. So,
Yeah.
but what I feel, why I said Karpov is because when the newer generation generally in their prime also has a slight problem I would say, which is overconfidence, which is where Karpov is also in his prime, right? So he can take advantage of this overconfidence.
For sure. I mean, there are many ways to look at it. Like if you ask Anand,
But ऐसा क्या question पूछा है?
it's a
नहीं,
good.
that's why because at the end nobody has the real answer.
Yeah.
And it's good analysis and इधर झगड़ा करवा.
No, but I mean, if I start thinking going back that Anand in his prime versus Kasparov in his prime,
Yes.
and then if you go back even further, saying Tal in his prime against Capablanca in his prime,
Yeah.
and I mean, it's very interesting.
But then if I say Carlsen in his prime, it seems like he beats everybody.
Yes.
I mean, no
As
chance.
you
There is
rightly
no
said, we
chance.
should remove Carlsen from it. And
Yeah.
as Mangal Rawat told me in the chat, always listen to your wife. So yes, and that too on the anniversary. Don't argue too much.
Good advice is Mangal.
So going back to the game, here Bishop G1 was played attacking the H2 pawn. And so he saved with H3 here. And now Vidit chose something interesting. He said कि कब तक ये जिंदगी जिएंगे हम?
क्या किया? King G5.
Till what point should I do this? Let me go Rook B8, give this pawn up, and activate my king. So now Vidit's king is running like this. Also, his pawn can come up. He's attacking this. Vincent said, I'm pushing my pawn. Vidit now pinned this. Rook C6.
Only move.
He took. Pawn takes.
Bishop B6.
Bishop
Only move.
B6.
I cannot even imagine that there can be any slight chance here for black because
Yes, of course. There's no chance. I think this will end in a draw. But also
No,
white does
but
not
the
have
que-
any chance.
That is another question because the pawn is on C6. So suppose white's king reaches D6, then white has a chance. But white king can he
mean,
reach D6 by any way?
You are saying like if the king, but how
No,
do you
king-
go? How do you
Okay,
reach?
king C4,
Like
king
this?
D5. No, king C3, king C4. Like you move the
So
bishop
let's move the
upwards.
bishop here. Then you play H5, then king C4, king D5, king
No,
D6.
but until that time, black's king is coming to E4.
So let's say
right
I
now,
go
yeah,
active,
King F4,
okay.
King D3,
King D3.
king G3.
I'm not sure if I want to go here.
Okay. Bishop D5 because I'll play.
I was
Doesn't
thinking
it? Or
maybe
bishop
this
E6
move.
is also possible. True.
And then you play. Now look at
King
this.
G2,
Look
if
at
I
this blunder.
It's a blunder.
Yes. Because now I go bishop D5.
Uh-huh.
The king has locked himself up. I'll put my bishop back and I will come this way and I will win the game.
Oh, king kind of committed, yeah?
Yeah. So the best move here is to come back. And the idea is to keep the king here. So Amruta, the right plan for Vidit here after king d3 is not to go this side, but to rather come to e5, stop the white king from coming this way and keep his king here. And one pawn down is not going to change anything.
Yeah, if that is possible, where black king cannot be moved away from e5, and the bishop will keep moving on c7, b6. Yeah, that's a fortress.
So this looks like Vidit is going to hold this, guys, even though the engine shows slight edge for white here. That is not the case. These are opposite colored bishop endgames. You see this bishop is on the light square. This bishop is on the dark square. It's an opposite colored bishop endgame, and one pawn deficit is easy to manage here, especially given that the black king is very active. Okay, so shall we go to Harikrishna's game, because that one is really heating up, and Harikrishna has played rook d3. He has played the best move.
Amazing.
He didn't fall for taking this pawn, which I think it was too obvious.
Of
Yeah.
course. Now, Sagar, one question to you is, okay, such a position against one of the best players, how much, forget about the calculations and all the technical stuff, but how much do you see a chance of converting this kind of position?
Very good question. I would ask the chat as well. Give in a percentage form. I mean, Harikrishna is
make a
better.
poll, na? How
No,
much?
they can write it here, because in the poll I
fine.
can. So do you think like 60-40 chances for Harikrishna to win? 70-30, 50-50? What do you think? $75 says Purna. Ishprit says 5%. Yeah, I guess some might also say that such a position might not be easy to convert against Wesley. Brain Fart says 90% chance. Rishikesh Singh says 60%.
Okay, I'll also frame one more question. Okay, if white is Samay and black is Sagar, then how much chance is there to convert such a?
I think if I'm playing against Samay this position,
अच्छा just उल्टा होना चाहिए था. If you are white against Samay, this position.
then I think 100% chance, no, to win. What?
Yes, of course, na.
Yeah.
मतलब अच्छा, you have that confidence, na.
Yes,
So don't think.
For sure. Yes, 60-40 is what Mayur is very precise. He says 53-47. And Prabodh Prakash says, I think it's 72.47% to win. You know that we have like super mathematicians in the chat. You know, guys, there is this very interesting move. Like I think that Wesley So has to be like of this mindset that agar kuch sad gaya hai, like something is spoiled, you throw it away. Like imagine, Amruta, we have this chocolate in the house which has gone past its expiry date.
It's not to be shared.
And you keep it. Yes, if you keep it,
And then
it's only going to get worse. So here is the chocolate which has gone past its expiry date.
Okay.
So you need to throw it away. So how do you throw it away?
D4.
You don't know how to throw it. So D4 is a very interesting move, guys, because if now Harikrishna takes
serious?
rook D4, yeah, then I play queen takes E5, correct? I mean, this would be very nice. But if in this position, which flavor is it? Oh no, it's not Vedika's chocolate, guys. It is something we went to Poland and we got it from there, from Mumbai airport, right?
Yeah, we got it from Mumbai airport to gift somebody, and we forgot to gift it.
It's this Whittaker. No, what's the name?
Some New Zealand chocolate.
Whittaker or White Taker, or you call it that, and it's
Then
very
the
nice.
date was gone, and then I thought, okay, anyway, we can't give this, so we ate it.
It was sea salt, and then when she opened it, there was some white thing there, and then we thought, okay, it's sea salt anyway, so we ate it.
That is how you convince yourself, but it was excellent, and we are all okay, so no worries.
So you don't want to give this pawn up, so you play bishop f4, and then you go rook a d8, and now if you take here this position, the main point is that you do not get into a bind like situation, like I can try for something else, but imagine if you don't push the pawn, Amrita.
Because all the time anyway we discuss that white cannot take the pawn.
No, but now the problem is this. that you go rook a d8, I'll play bishop e3. Okay, and now what will happen is I will put my bishop on d4. So this rook will be looking at the pawn, and I have a majority here which I'll start to push.
Exactly. Why will I go rook a d8? It's like सामने दीवार है and I'm going there to see what? So I'll go rook a c8, Sagar. That's the window.
Rook a c8 or first rook f d8?
नहीं, anyway he cannot take the pawn ना.
अच्छा तो ठीक है. You do this. Now I will play bishop d2 like your move.
So now I'll have to.
Or maybe let me start with bishop e3.
Yeah, what happens with bishop e3? That's what I thought earlier. Something like rook c4, but is it going to be okay or no? Or right now, if I go d4, then I lose a pawn. It's tough, yeah, to understand.
It's no. I mean, now if you play rook d. Okay, no. Now it is important, Amruta, because if let's say you don't do it, I'll take.
I don't want
and
to
then you play rook d8, I play rook a5, you take my queen, I take back.
Okay.
So you play rook d8, and now I play bishop d4, and now I'm going to play.
So bishop. Even if you get bishop d4, right?
Now black should make a very important move here. Let's ask the chat, guys. What would you play here as black?
I am clear.
Black to move.
Why not start with certified genius?
Why not start with bishop c5? Certified genius after rook d3? I think if you play bishop c5, I can take, no? Rook d5. And then if you play rook d8, then I have bishop e3, take queen d5. Oh, bishop. Yeah. That should be okay. Yes. Amazing. I think, Amruta, this is beautifully done by the chat.
Sure.
They have got it right here. Bishop c5. And
yeah, exactly.
Was this your move as well? Because this is the powerhouse here.
Yeah, you don't want it to stay there.
You exchange it. And the right move has been given by
Haze Mahesh Said.
Why not Haze?
Look, when it's a name, you... Okay, sorry. Saeed Ishaq, Vikas, Craig, Faria, Bad Boys, Avnish Agarwal, Ekansh Aditya, Pratik Bhatt, and Praveen Kundarkar.
Nice. So
the bishop c5, he was asking ki pehle kyun nahi. That is also.
No, that I think think like after rook d3, if you play bishop c5 here, then now I thought I can take. Because if you go rook d8, then I'll go bishop e3. And if you play rook d5, I have queen d5. And you can't take because queen is hanging. So
True.
I don't think you can you can play bishop c5. Just Amruta, just to see how Harikrishna managed to get an opening advantage with Wesley So.
Yeah.
Shall we check the opening on our ChessBase 16? Because I think that will help people to also learn.
Correct.
So here going, oops, not this.
Wait,
here, yeah. This is good. So after e4, e5, Hari is white. Knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, knight f6. We have seen this in 42,000 games. Castle, knight e4, rook e1, knight d6, a4. This is, a4 is something interesting, Amruta. 5,000 games, continued knight e5. And Harikrishna goes a4. The best player who has played a4 in the past is Nakamura, Karyakin. But not too many. Yeah, Arvind has played it before. So bishop e7, knight c3, a6, bishop f1, e4. He took, rook takes, d5, rook e1 back, bishop g4, h3, bishop h5, bishop e2, castles d4, bishop d6. I think till here some point was the theory. Yeah, after this. Yeah, till here bishop g4 by Wesley was perhaps not played so many times, like 2 times. h3 was the first new move. Okay, so basically some fresh stuff. Yeah, Harikrishna didn't go into some big theoretical lines. He played it calmly, and also if you look, both players were taking time. I like here Harikrishna is 134, but
Yeah, already 15 minutes difference almost.
maybe this is all prep, yeah, for Hari 133.
Actually, look at this. Amazing.
And Wesley has taken 24 minutes. Hari Krishna now took 10 minutes for this move Rook D2, which was okay. I mean, he could have also played something else.
Idea would be something he knew about.
Yes.
So Rook D2.
Rook D2, C6, C4, and now Wesley played Queen A5, take, and Rook D3. And Wesley So is down to 31 minutes, Amruta. Hari Krishna has 1 hour 3 minutes. I think this is the best chance that Hari can get to beat Wesley. And you know, Amruta, if Hari Krishna beats Wesley So, his chances of qualifying as the winner, I mean, it's still far because 4 more rounds to play, but would be increased tremendously.
Yeah, because Wesley is the strongest, in this pool, I would say.
Digvijay Dhamane says, sir, can I analyze this on Fritz? You mean the opening tree? Yes, on Fritz also. It comes with, but you don't have, I think you have its own database there and its own opening book, so you can do it. But on ChessBase, you also have the live database. Okay, so Rook D3. And by the way, guys, before we go ahead and I'm going to show you more things, I want to just show you a small thing that we have introduced here, and which is the first link in the description, because today is our anniversary and also because the Valentine's Day is incoming, Amruta. There is a special ChessBase India Valentine's Day pack in which you can gift it to your loved ones, and you can teach, if they don't know chess, then they can choose from the middle row, Fritz and Chester to learn chess course, or Daniel King starting out chess, one of the three. You can, in that there is also a chess set, there is also a book, ChessBase India book and a pen, and Vedika's chocolates, as well as couples t-shirt. So it's a perfect gift for your Valentine's, if you love chess, for them to teach, for you to teach them chess. This is the perfect gift.
Nice.
Would you have liked it if I had given? I mean,
I know
you
chess,
learned
but
chess
yeah,
before me.
the shirt basically, I think it also has soul and mate. So
Oh,
yeah, so
this
that's why it's
so the
special.
wordings which are written there have soul and mate written on it.
Yes, I don't know in this picture, but in general.
So here, if you see in between, there is mate, and on this, all other words are same, but one there is soul, and the other one there is mate.
Yeah.
Wow, that's your idea.
Yeah.
Awesome. And if you do not want couples t-shirt, we also have a pack where you can take t-shirts here, which is single ones. No need for couples t-shirt, but other all things same. So it's first link in the description. You can check it out. Okay, back to the game.
Oh, Dino wishes us from Philippines happy anniversary. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dino. V Van Brookham, the first link in the description. Single. Jai Prakash says single log ko dard mat do. But there is no couples t-shirt and there's also singles t-shirt. So
वो same है without soul. There's another word. So सबके लिए है. Everybody will be happy. Oh, thank you, Chess Players Sports.
So Amruta, Rook D8 was played by Wesley.
ठीक है, तो Bishop
E3. Like you said no that this rook needs the C file. So why to bring this rook here? Let's keep this and let's bring the other rook.
Correct.
But now I get a feeling that Harikrishna has a choice. He can go Bishop D2 to C3, or he can play Bishop E3 to D4.
Yeah, and at the end, the dream would be to take the F pawn to F6.
Yes. So let's say in a beautiful world, okay?
Yeah.
Bishop E3.
You mean this world?
Yes, I mean, yeah. And he doesn't play Bishop C5, and he goes Rook C6. Let's just assume, okay, F4. Then you play here Rook C8. Then I go king h1. I'm just showing you what white's plan is. Now you go, let's say rook c2.
Rook c2.
Yeah, just trying to be active.
है नहीं, but ठीक है.
Now I can go, let's say e6. Just if you take
Queen g4. Double
Threatening a mate. So you go bishop f8. Now I take this pawn.
King h8.
King h8.
f5.
And now very you can do that, or also you can play rook c3. A very cool move, because after take, let's say b takes c3, now the rook is hanging. So let's say you try to save your rook now, and I go queen f7, threatening rook e1 to e8.
तो f5 touch ही नहीं कर रहे हो?
I mean, the point is that if I
mean at that point,
if I get here f5 f6, that's good, but if I can get e6 and queen g4, it might even be stronger. But also like f5, very powerful, Amruta, because f6, queen g4. So this is the dream scenario for white. If he can blockade with the bishop on d4 and start pushing his kingside pawns, that's over.
Yes, absolutely. And it's not, I don't see it very easy for black to really find a way to deal with white's plan. What does he have? What are the weaknesses he can attack? He needs to exchange the pieces, right?
Yes,
so
I think he has to go and
which he has to try.
Trade that, Amruta. That's for sure. If he doesn't trade the bishop, he will be in big trouble. Okay, guys, for all those who are asking where is the link, I have pinned it. So in case you want to check it out, please do so for the Valentine's Day gift. Someone in the chat was asking that why couldn't Harikrishna take on d5? Well, the reason is rook a d8 here. And guys, that is not possible because now rook a5 would be met with rook d1.
Dipesh, thank you. You have loved my song on CBI Clips. So thank you for marketing.
Once more is saying.
Once more is saying.
Can you sing it?
After bullet. Apna to fix ही है ना.
Okay. Guys, we can go back to Vidit very quickly and then also look at some other games. I want to show you very interesting stuff. By the way, in Vidit's game, Vidit didn't go king f4 e5. He's going king f6 e5. Same thing. Yeah. And this most likely they will agree to a draw soon. There's a very nice game today, Amruta, between Hikaru Nakamura and Andre Esipenko.
Oh, Nakamura is white.
Nakamura is white.
And that pawn on d3 looks like a monster right now.
Okay, I have a question to the chat. Last move was queen d7 here. Why can't Andre Esipenko take on c3 and fork these two pieces? Very quickly, guys, you have only 5 seconds to answer this. Let's see who's going to get it first.
Good question. Good question. Varada asks, which opening should I play to impress my girlfriend?
Depends on
the
what. Like if Amruta was there, then I had to play Sicilian, right?
Yeah.
So it depends on what she likes. Okay, guys, great job. I think a lot of you have found
queen c3.
Brilliant. It's a double attack. After queen c3, you attack g7 mate, and also the d2 knight is hanging. So,
and some people who had mentioned queen d4, the problem there is it won't work.
Yeah, because just exchange the queens, right?
Right. First you exchange and then you lose the f1.
Yeah, and then you take this. So queen c3 is the correct move, and this was rightly answered by Pranshu, Shaurya, Dipesh, Belligerent, Sals, Vikas, Arush, Kostol, Rajat, and Bondita. Well done, guys. So in the game, he has played queen d7, and Amruta, if we count the number of pawns on the board, it's 7 pawns aside. But white has the bishop pair in the position, and I get a feeling that Nakamura has really a very good position. Also, you could play f3 because knight d2 there is queen c3, and then you can expand in the center. So f3 is not at all a bad move.
Okay.
But here black has prepared something special for the position, because if he had to move back the knight, then queen d4, then e4, I mean, it's going to be very risky.
Oh,
So
you mean the knight stays there? That's
yes.
the hint.
So what is the
Wow.
move that black has prepared in this position after f3? You know, Amruta, Hikaru Nakamura playing in this over the board tournament is very interesting because he's into streaming, so many people follow him, and then all of a sudden he comes here and he's fighting for the candidates. Imagine that he wins this and he actually reaches the candidates, like he wins this Grand Prix, then so many of his followers would have such a ball because Nakamura is interacting personally with so many people on his Twitch stream, and suddenly that guy has reached the candidates. And I think in terms of streaming, he is really streams maybe the most, right, amongst chess players, maybe
Amongst top chess players.
amongst top players, yeah, or even just anyone streaming chess. He might be, because he does that every single day. Maybe the only one who comes close to streaming as much is me. Or maybe not, but I mean, of course, he's such an amazing chess player as well. So b5 is the correct move, guys. Mr. Kostol, Mr. Dam, Vikas, Ishprit, Purna, Rajat, Sals, Arav, Arnav, and Mahish S.A. Fantastic job done by all of you. That is the right move. And so b5 is what he would play, and then you have to go queen c1. And now after knight d6, the knight can come to c4. You don't have queen d4 anymore.
So Ayushman Sharma asked one question, can anyone help me why VD got two conservative blacks?
Consecutive, I think you wanted to ask.
Okay.
I think because he will get two whites.
Now he has two whites. So
Later
right
he
now,
will
even
get.
if it is a draw
No,
with black.
I mean, it doesn't matter much because then he will get, but it is a good question. But someone has to get
He will get
it.
two whites.
He will
He
get.
has to get two.
No, he will get anyway white against Vincent, white against Levon.
So
it's like.
So right.
But if he had got alternate white, then someone had to get a double black. So it was Vidit who maybe it's through the numbers that they got.
Van Brusham asks, is the Valentine gift possible for European people?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you can. I mean, the only thing is that you should not order DVDs from there because that is only for the Indian subcontinent. But Praful Zaveri's books, chess course, then chess set, also notebooks, pens, also everything, t-shirts is across the world. So yes, you can order it. So queen d7, and now Hikaru is thinking what to do, and I think he has a great move here, Amrita, to go g4. And this can become really intense because after bishop g4,
bishop e4. So if you go bishop g6, is there f4 or?
Now I'm thinking f3.
Yeah.
Then you go b5.
Queen c1.
Queen b3.
Same thread anyway.
The difference is that, Amrita, if the queen went on b3 with bishop here, you could have attacked it again.
Right. That's why g4 is such a nice intermezzo in a way.
Yes, it is. And now white is better here, I think, or rook a c1.
Yeah, because I think at some point he will go e4 and the d3 might also become weak.
But you don't want this knight coming on c4. So I get a feeling, Amrita, that if you reach this position, if the knight comes here, then white has a very powerful move. I'll ask the chat so that they understand this concept. White to play. What do you do?
Between all those who have wished us happy anniversary, once again, thank you so much. There are a lot of people, so can't take everyone's name, but thank you.
Do you have some super chat? I think one we missed, Amruta.
1 second. Chaitanya Modak, yeah, he super chatted. What would have been Bobby Fischer and Paul Morphy's rating in modern era with all the engines and resources?
I think Paul Morphy.
उसको बहुत कम रहता था नहीं
No, no,
कम
no.
नहीं
I
रहता
mean,
था
I would say Paul Morphy was a genius, right? Because at a point where there was no real literature on chess, he understood initiative and sacrificing material for quick development and all of these things so quickly. So I get a feeling he would be around 2800. Fisher definitely about 2800. I mean,
yeah Fisher I think
he was
20
already 2780,
yeah
I think. It is highest elo, so he would definitely have been very high.
yeah Fisher would have been 2900 and that's why maybe Magnus would have said he wants to reach 3000.
Okay, so the move that has been suggested. Oh, very good, guys. I love how the chat is not, they are
Greedy.
not greedy, or you can say,
Possessive.
yes, they are not too
They are
much
not
too
possessive.
materialistic, and they understand that the knight on c4 is worth its weight in gold. So
Dipesh
Dipesh,
Sokal, Shubham Gupta, Shaurya Chess, Ravinder Singh, Arush Gupta, Manan Nath, Aranav Kadam, Vivan Malpani, Mr. Kostol, and Major Chess.
yeah, you just simply
Awesome.
take on c4. Here b takes c4, and after queen takes c4, I love the position for white because soon you can go f4, unleash this bishop. This bishop is already active. I have a feeling, guys, that Hikaru has a great position, and this is an important moment in the game. Let's see if he's going to play well. You know, Amruta, yesterday he was talking about his game, and he said it was so boring to play. Because it was he was playing against back row, and it was this dull e4 e5 some Berlin. I think they played the Berlin stuff, and he got really bored there.
Wow.
And
And then what happened?
he said it, I think, in the, yeah, they drew. He said it in the interview that it was quite boring, and I like the honesty there.
No, true. Like if you are so used to playing creative and
Or
exciting
you're used to
chess,
create playing
like
like
you remember,
speed
yeah,
runs and
yeah, exactly,
Botes Gambit and
exactly.
stuff like that.
Like even in Bullet, for me, when the queens get exchanged, I'm like, oh, come on.
Okay, so here with its game, just coming back.
Vidit ka game king e2. Acha. So I think yeah, this is a draw, no doubt
No,
about
but
it.
let's just try a bit for white. So
For
suppose,
white,
yeah,
okay,
let's
king
say
e5.
king e5. I go king f3. What do you do next?
Let's say I just go bishop c7
You wait,
for a moment.
right?
I do nothing. Then do you have something?
Let's say bishop here.
Then bishop b6. You need to do something.
Yeah, I am thinking. Let's say bishop.
You need to do something, I'm thinking.
Yeah, let's try to get the king here.
Take it. Bishop c7. Bishop b6. King h5. आ गया ना? Sorry, I mean, I just wanted to tell this. If you do nothing, you're gone. Because
Right.
with the we show knows there will be some people who may not understand why this is winning.
You lose a pawn.
You can't support it because c7 is happening, and then you lose the pawn, and once you lose the h6 pawn, h pawn. Okay, fine.
No, you're right. Bishop e3.
Just wanted to give a
if I lose
conclusion.
this pawn, king g6, h4, h5, h6, h7. Very nice.
Yes. So you cannot allow the king on h5 just like that. कुछ
So
तो करना है.
here bishop c7 I don't like.
Correct. So let's try to stop. King f6 जाओ वापस.
King
But then
f6
king h4 and
or-
king
or-
g6 को g4.
How about a very cool move here, guys? Let's see.
F4
Black to
check.
play. What do you play here? Try to understand what your opponent wants to do and stop it. It's called
मतलब
prophylaxis.
actually white can put some pressure, yeah. Like black still has to be alert. It's not like
No,
easy
it's-
draw.
I mean, of course.
For Vidit, of course, it will be not very difficult to defend.
Yes. Try to think what your opponent wants to do. This is a very important thing in endgames. Endgames is a lot about stopping opponent's plan as much as it is about furthering your plans. So when you don't have something to do here like black, then you try to stop your opponent's plan. So let's see what our chat has come up with. Fantastic, guys. Bishop d8, Amruta.
Awesome.
This is what I like. They are very quick to understand that you have to stop h4 and they go bishop d8 back. Excellent job. And the right answer.
Amol Dhamale, Divyansh, Mr. Coastal, Mahish Ese, Popat Bhavya, Radhika Prabhakaran, Purana, Sals the Music Band, Shaibi Binoj, and Arish Gupta.
Yes.
Bishop d8 is a very good move, prophylaxis.
And let's say if now I wait here, then you can also wait.
No, king f4 aa jayega na?
Yes, but now I can go king e6, threatening bishop c7 check when you will be pushed back. You don't have the g5 square, you don't have e5 square. If you go bishop c2.
Okay, if I go g4, then.
Yeah, just a check.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Check here, and this is. So, guys, you see. Oh, by the way, Vidit has pushed his pawn to f4. That is a committal move for sure, Amruta. He has pushed. I mean, we were thinking he will just wait here, but he has pushed his pawn to f4.
So, even if the pawn is on f4,
yeah,
maximum is white king goes f3, attacks the pawn.
Yeah.
You keep your bishop on c7, let's say.
Only move, right? Because if you go king e5, I go king g4 h5 and I win this.
Okay.
He went king f3.
But then white has one extra square, which is king e4, king d5.
Yeah, right now king e4, I think he will do it. Okay, if you go king g4 now, that's also interesting because
king h5
but king h5, king g7. And I think that's okay. Because you really don't have more resources. So if this, then I have like waiting moves. I have waiting moves with my bishop. Correct. So the other move is king e4, Amruta.
Now if I go king e6, there is bishop c4 check.
Yes.
So that's why.
And then you will have to choose.
I can't go king d6. Can I can.
If you go king d6, attacking this, I'll try to defend it, threatening to come here.
So again, king e6.
Yeah, possible. I mean, the defensive spectrum is quite wide for black. Although I was not very, very happy with the move f4, Amruta, because it gave like enough squares. But Vidit is following the classic rule in the opposite colored bishop endgame that if you are down in material, put your pawns on the same color as your bishop so that your bishop can protect it.
Yeah.
And if you are trying to play for a win, put your pawns on the opposite color.
And if you are, let's say, right now there are only two ways where after f4 white can really progress, right? Where one is king goes to e4, one is king goes to g4.
Yeah.
So if he sees ki donon ke liye there is an answer, then I think for him it is very clear.
Right. So bishop c7 and we saw king
E4.
So as you saw king g4, bishop b6.
No, bishop b6, king f4.
Oh, king,
bishop d6.
Bishop d6, yeah, sorry. And king h5 and king g7. And I'm safe here.
Can it be a zugzwang? No, because you always have bishop c7 and bishop d6.
See, Amruta asked a very nice question, guys. Try to understand this concept. Amruta is asking, can there be a zugzwang for in this position where black runs out of moves? So let's say if I play bishop e4, does black have to move his king away, which will result in the loss of the pawn? No. Then she said the bishop can always keep moving back and forth. So whenever you have waiting moves, there is no zugzwang. Zugzwang is basically, zug is move, zwang is basically, as I understand it, the lack of a good move in the position. So you have to make a bad move. But here, because you have waiting moves, there is no zugzwang for black. So Vincent doesn't go to g4, Amruta. He goes to e4. And with it playing super quick, he pushes his pawn to a5.
Oh.
Yeah, I think Vidit is very confident about the defensive setup because he's not taking time. He's playing very quickly.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm feeling. Too fast. By the way, Ravi Gollapalli super chats and says happy anniversary, Sagar and
Thank you, Ravi. That is very kind of you. And we had a very nice day today. Amruta, maybe we can show them the books we got today.
Yeah, I'll tell them. And maybe I'll make them feel a little bit jealous because we had Pizza Hut.
Yeah, we went to Pizza Hut today, which is our favorite restaurant where we met first time, like in 2008. And we ate and since then...
It didn't exist. That is not the one.
No, not here, but in general, Pizza Hut. So we went and we have always loved eating pizza at Pizza Hut. more than any other outlet. And then we went to a cafe and we read some. We both like reading books together, and we bought some books. So we'll show you. Okay, let's go to Harikrishna's game. By the way, a result has come in. Daniel Dubov and Levon Aronian have drawn their game very quickly. So good result for Levon, I would say. After beating with white, he has now drawn with black. Dubov also very solid with 2 draws. Tomorrow he will be an amazing game, guys. Vidit versus Dubov will be superb. Okay. Now let's go to Harikrishna's game against Wesley So. Oh, where have the queens gone? Rook fd8, bishop e3, rook a c8. We saw till here, and we were saying, like, he'll go bishop d4, then f4. But I think what Hari did not like is bishop c5 in this position. And so that's the reason why he played queen b3, trying to put pressure on b7 and d5. And here black played queen b4, offering a queen trade. Harikrishna traded, and now rook d1. Wow, Amruta, the queens have been traded, and now Wesley So cannot. No, he cannot even save the pawn. So
he'll have to find compensation.
No, he played king f8. He played king f8.
Yeah, because why did he not play rook c2? Because anyway mate threat is there.
There is a back rank issue, because when I take,
and if you play rook b2 is a blunder, guys, maybe they can tell us why.
No, this check is obvious.
Okay.
And now perhaps. Okay, there are many ways to win.
That's very easy. Yeah.
But still.
No, there's only one. What many? But as Shashank had mentioned, I remember once Hikaru was playing Bullet on stream and AG challenged him to 3+2. And he started saying this is too long a game. Already feels like classical.
Zhuang is forced, says Vincent van Broekem. Okay, Zhuang is forced. So Zug forced. Zug Zhuang. So basically forced move. Really? Okay. And so yes, bishop c5 is the correct move, as answered by Saurav Jagtap, Rishi Agarwal, Arpit, Ria George, Ralph, Aditya Narayanan. You want to play bishop c5, but you wrote bishop c4. That's okay. Ved Rao, Ashutosh, Avinindra Shukla. Well done, guys. So now after king f8, Amruta, my question to you is,
yes,
can we not just take on d5, rook d5 and rook d5 and say that
c2?
Yes, but rook c2.
Now if you go bishop d4,
yeah,
is there a pin? No, rook d2.
No, rook d2, bishop c5.
No, it's supported, no?
Yes, but bishop c5.
Bishops.
But I think what the main issue here, Amruta, is that I'll go rook d7. And after that, what will happen is that you might take on b2 and I will take on b7. And I will pin you this way. And I think white is better.
Because he's still a pawn up and he's able to a5 killer. Just a moment.
Yeah,
then it's
a5.
On dark square. Already positionally you don't like that.
Check. Because you can't take. Your rook will hang. So you go king e8.
This rook endgame has... but you will go into a pawn.
No, I won't take. I will maybe wait here. Perhaps I'll improve with g3, king g2. You can't really break through, because if
bishop c3. How is the bishop endgame?
Bishop endgame is lost for
bishop
sure.
Endgame is lost. So, okay. I got it. So only rook endgame is okay. Bishop endgame is not okay. Okay, let's go back. So rook d7. Rook d7 is the power.
1 second. Take and maybe f4 with the idea of getting the king
d7.
King in. Yeah, this should be
1
lost.
second.
No, this should be lost. What? 1 second. King d7. King f2.
King c6 with a tempo.
King c6. Okay. What's your idea next? You want to come to d5.
King c4, king b3. I just want to see that if I'm able to win the pawn.
Attack this pawn. G6 first.
Now king
f3.
Sorry. Oh, you don't care about king d5?
King d5. You want to come here, correct? I can...
Look, if you go into the race, that is like already a lot of calculation for humans.
But no, I mean g4.
King c4.
King e4.
And now king
King
b3.
b3.
So f5. Yeah,
F5.
that king a4 and e6 is...
Yeah. And I think this race, white is winning because he's queening very quickly.
Yeah.
So...
True.
So here, by the way, this has happened, Amruta. And instead of going rook c2, Wesley smartly played a prophylactic move. What did black play here? Very important move, actually. And Wesley understands that he can defend if he plays carefully, stopping Harikrishna's idea. So black to move, what should you do here?
If not rook c2, then the next move is very simple, right?
Let's
that's the
most
obvious move or not?
I think what I want to teach the chat always is that there are two ways to think in any position. One is that you think what is your move, which is the most active. And this is what you also said, rook c2. This is the most active. The second one, if you think that, is you must think what is it that my opponent wants to do. And then you realize he wants to go to d7. So you have a choice. Either further your own idea or stop your opponent's idea.
So counter-attack versus prophylaxis is what we are saying, let's say. And first, you always must consider a counter-attack.
I mean, counter-attack or basically your own idea. Or you can also say it attack.
Yeah.
So the main thing is you look at your idea, then you see, oh, my opponent's idea looks stronger than mine.
So you
let me stop it.
Prophylaxis idea.
So let's see if our chat has found it. Yes. Fantastic job,
King
guys.
E7.
King e7, stopping rook d7 is correct. And we have the right answer.
Mr. Dam, Vivan Malpani, Adarsh Bhatt, Sarva Jayan, Shaibi Vinoj, Subhaya, Harish Radia, Prashant Tiwari, Arnav Kadam, and Venkatesh Deshpande.
Well done. We have a super chat by My Diary who says, Bhai, apne ko, like maybe he's saying it like, boy, apne ko King's Indian defense seekhne ka hai, kidhar seekhe? So I would say a very good way to start off, at least on this journey, would be through Rajabov's King's Indian stream. I think that was liked by a lot of people. Could be slightly advanced, but you can get a good idea of it through that. And then also in Rajabov's Grandmaster Chess, he has chosen a King's Indian game, if I'm not mistaken.
If you actually take a pen and a notebook and sit with answering those 10 questions, that would be a great training.
People are also saying कि mini board में सब दिख रहा है यहाँ पे. So yeah, I mean, it was that typical miss where I should have actually seen that the answer was there.
When you want to use the word stupid?
Yes.
Okay.
I was a little bit. But Amruta, now what Wesley is saying is that, look, I have stopped your rook from
D7.
coming here. And now I'm threatening rook c2, which actually cannot be stopped with rook d2 because the bishop controls this square.
Right. So black is, no matter what, going to get some counterplay anyway.
And even if I go bishop g5, king has a great square on e6.
Black king is pretty centrally located. So for that one pawn, good compensation, we can say, black has.
And it's also very difficult to keep the pawn. Let's say I start with something like rook d3, okay?
Rook c2.
You go rook c2, I go b3.
Achha, b3. Okay.
Yes, that was my idea.
So king e6 first.
King e6, trying to attack this.
F4.
I was wondering f4, yeah.
Can I go bishop c5 and exchange that bishop?
No, don't go into a rook, and maybe it's possible. But I would say, Amruta, you can also do h5.
Or g5. Sagar, g5.
No, that would be very good for white. You know
very
why?
Very good for black.
No, because just after fg5, now king e5, the main point is my e5 pawn was anyway slightly weak. And you have let me take this, and now these two are weak. So this is something that is a huge upgrade. And
so
also I get
rook
rook
d7.
d7.
King e4 threat, because right now you have rook d7. Okay, TK, not here. Guys, generally this is an excellent idea in Sicilian many times when you get this right moment g5.
But not in this
But
endgame.
not in this endgame.
So g6, my idea is to play h5. Let's say if you go g4, then the rook becomes like permanent on the seventh rank, and my king cannot come up.
Correct.
Also, I can now play h5, and if you take gh, then I'll take gh. And notice, Amruta, that even though you are a pawn up, your light squares are weak, so the king could come in like this.
Yeah.
At the same time, the black bishop and rook is active.
So I would say about the whole position, it's something like there is a great compensation for a pawn. Of course, black still has to be very accurate, because if he misses something, then it's like white ends up being a pawn up. But Wesley is very good in defending such kind of positions, as we know. So this should be a draw, unless
Maybe, I mean, draw might be too soon to say, because look, Harikrishna, who's much better than us at understanding such positions, has first played rook d4. He is forcing the bishop to move. Of course, you don't want to move it, so you push your pawn to a5. And Harikrishna says that now you have put another pawn on dark square. I don't know how big of a deal it is, but it's something.
now we can go rook d3 or something.
And also, by the way, some news coming in for us that Vincent and Vidit have drawn their game. So the final few moves were king e4, a5, bishop c4, bishop b8, king d5, bishop back, bishop back, and king c5, bishop c7. Vidit has managed to hold this to a draw, because if you come here, matlab pura ghum ke, then my king will come here. So Vidit put all his pawns on dark squares and drew it. So great job here. I think I would say maybe not a great result or anything for Vidit, but at least he stopped the bleeding.
Yes.
Like he lost the first game. So now he drew with black, which means that he has now 4 white
Yes.
in out of, no, he has
Totally.
you play, is one more black left in this, and he will have 3 whites, 3 whites and 1 black left. So that is already a big advantage, because you will have white pieces, and he will play Dubov. I think tomorrow will be a very important game with Dubov, because Dubov will want his revenge
And
against Vidit.
generally Vidit does beat Dubov. I mean, statistically, it's way more times. But let's see. By the way, Sachin, hi Sachin, he asked Raja beat Kasparov with KID. That would be a good game to see.
No, Sachin, it was the French game. Raja was black. He played, Kasparov played e4, Rajabov played e6. It was French, and it was a nice game also. It's annotated in the mega database. So you can see, I think Rajabov has annotated it, maybe. Maybe someday we will look at it.
Rajat Chaudhary asks, do chess players ever use notebooks during any phase of their learning journey? If yes, what do they use it for?
Notebooks?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I used it to just write down moves of some games that I was looking at, just to give me a feel of the tournament, because you write your moves in a score sheet. So when you are at home, if you write down a move after playing it or something, you get a feel of tournament like situation.
For me, laptops were not there. So once you write in a score sheet, after that you write it in a book where you write the annotation in written, like, what.
Yes, you are quite old in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, no, I was in that era was different. And
yes,
then
you are quite old.
Yeah, Zakham pe namak. We have some super chats, by the way.
Yeah, please. My diary says, bro, I think Hari is pro than Vidit. Tumko kya lagta hai? I think my diary, it's very difficult to say who is pro, who is not pro. It depends. I think Vidit has had his own share of successes. Harikrishna as well. I consider them both to be very, very equal in terms of strength, because they both have been in the 27-20 zone for quite some time. Yeah. And I think it would be nice to, someday have like a match between the two. It would be nice, I think they both are very strong.
Yes.
And also they have their own.
Say who is stronger.
Yes.
Something we would not even want to, but Shashank says, happy anniversary, love your post on IG. Amrita, very thoughtful writing. Would love to hear what books you are reading now. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Shashank. Yeah, guys, if you have not checked, Sagar wrote a very nice post about...
No, you also.
Yes, I
Both.
also wrote, but
So one book which we got.
yeah.
Yeah, go on. So finish your.
No, no,
No, finish.
no. I finished.
Okay. Let me open up Harikrishna's game while we talk about this, so that we can see if the moves have been played. Yeah. Oh, look at this. Harikrishna went rook d4, a5, and rook h4, attacking here. I think h6 will be played. So one book we got is Psychology of Money. It's very interesting because it talks about something related to the fact that money, a lot of people think is, when you talk about how to manage your money, it's a lot about financial planning, formulas, trying to understand what the different things are, different kinds of scientific basis and stuff like that. But the author says it's a lot about your behavior, and a lot about psychology is involved when you deal with money. And I think it's very interesting because we really perceive money differently. Different people perceive it differently. For me, it might have less importance. For her, it might have more importance. And so to understand that is nice. And also, I think we wanted to understand money in more in depth, because nowadays everyone's talking about crypto, and everyone's talking about all these different kinds of currencies.
Yeah, so much technology is happening, and the exact part, what is the psychology behind it? How can we think about it? What are we missing about it? So
Yeah.
it's a try. Something else.
The other book which we got was this one, because we've been reading a lot of non-fiction books recently, so we wanted to get a good at least I wanted to read it. So it's 50 greatest short stories, and it's by authors like Anton Chekhov, Charles Dickens. We read the first one today, was by Oscar Wilde.
No, it was really an impressive story, like such a beautifully written story.
Yeah, our idea is
I don't know if the story, when you read it, I mean, because I generally hear when he speaks, so for me it's like storytelling. Yeah, I'm at a storytelling session, so it's great.
our idea is to read one book every day.
One story.
One story every day. So maybe we can finish it in 50 days. And one more book that Amruta got is Measure What Matters by Jean Doer. It is on the concept of OKR, which means objectives and key results. And this is a very interesting one, where when you are trying to do something, it is nice to have objectives which are very firmly in place, and then you have key results which are measurable. So these are some of the books that we are reading, and we are learning a lot in the process. And I think it's
Yes, how many of you think that we can like we should use our personal channel and share certain things like these with you guys? Like, would it be interesting, or would it be like एक हाथ दूसरी बार ठीक है, but
no, I
उसके
think
बाद
it would
boring?
be
Like, how-
interesting for different people as well, not just chess. So let's see.
प्रबोध
Okay.
प्रकाश says, हम आईटी वालों की ओकेआर ने जिंदगी खराब कर रखी है.
True. I mean, somewhere, when I was reading OKR, I was like, oh my God, this is like so, you have these objectives, and every few in periods, you can then have the key results to measure if you are reaching the objectives or not. And then I thought that, okay, it can also make the lives really dull and boring if the
There's
objective.
a lot to. Before
it's-
that, we need to understand.
No,
what
it's
are we
it's
saying.
double-edged. Yeah, it's double-edged.
double-edged.
That's what we
So that's why
discussed as well.
we keep it like सिर्फ पढ़ के उतना ही नहीं, but we have to ourselves understand. Also, it's a lot about your personality, what makes you happy, not happy, that
Yeah.
kind of a thing. Akshay, which book to show again? That one. No? That was 50 greatest stories, I think. If you are asking about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I don't
by Rupa Publications.
Okay.
So Harikrishna went rook g4, Amruta, attacking the g7 pawn, and black went king f8, stopping it. So in a way, what Wesley is saying is that I can hold my king side here without having to push anything, because if I go g6, I know you will win this pawn, and if I go g5, then here's a very typical move that white can play. What should he do to break this structure? Can anyone tell us? White to play. Yeah, very good. Yeah, these are. I mean, our chat somehow, Amruta, I feel like they're filled with very good players who understand. I don't know how well you will do in tournaments, guys, but if you get a chance, please do play because look at this. They're so quick to find these moves. H4,
Yeah.
which is.
Yeah, I mean, generally, at least in Bombay earlier, there used to be a tournament almost every Sunday. So it's really helpful. Anshul Nanwani, Ashutosh, Ashank, Chess, Utpal Nandi, Varat Chimburkar, Mahesh Venkatasan, Ojas, Yash Todi, Siddharth Ranadive, and Sri John.
Yeah, so h4 just breaking the structure and weakening something here. If you take on h4, rook h4, and h6 is weak, otherwise g5 is weak, that would be very, very dangerous. So king f8, he went king
Abhijit
f1.
asks, after King F8, Bishop D4 can be interesting.
Hello,
Yeah.
Abhijit. And king f8, bishop d4. It's a nice suggestion by Abhijit.
Are you suggesting E6 is your
E6
threat?
would come next, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, that's a very nice move by Abhijit because rook c2, then I think you go on the, or maybe you first save the pawn. Anyway, it's defended. So let's say e6.
F6.
F6 is kind of forced. You can't go e7 because bishop will
But then
take it.
your E6 can become weak.
I mean, that's an extra pawn anyway. So now rook e2 is a threat.
F4. So go F4 with the idea of F5.
F4 or do you want to go king f1?
King F1, let's say. Then rook C6.
Let's say f4.
It's a bad move I suggested.
Yeah, but rook c4.
Yeah, I saw this F5.
No,
Bishop C5.
Yeah.
Oh, D4.
This,
Blunder.
this would lose. So here not possible. F4, but maybe king f1. However, after a check and take this, is it possible? King here, but the king has been activated. But like you won a pawn, but you really lost too much. Like the king is very active, and you could also now
King C4, and then maybe you can think of.
Yeah, king c4, there is rook e2 trying to get active there. So maybe you can start with bishop e3, stopping that, and then go like this. I think white has realistic chances here.
Correct.
But, instead of bishop d4, suggested by Abhijit, king f1 was played by Hari. And now after rook c2, I think Harikrishna. Maybe it's the same, right?
Yeah,
rook c2, bd4. So guys, Harikrishna is trying to find creative ways to keep up the pressure in the position.
But we can still say there are some good chances because black has to be very accurate at the same time white as well. My diary says, "Bhai, kuch Korchnay ke bare mein batao." I love that guy.
Yeah, I think he was amazing. In fact, he's one of the few people whom we met, right?
Yeah.
Who from that era. Where we got an autograph, we met him in
We met
Dresden.
him also. We saw Spassky also there.
No.
3 people were playing that team tournament.
Spassky was not there. Taimanov was there.
Taimanov
Was there. And I think Korchnoi had one of the most, how do you say, tenacious chess careers, where he fought really hard for every little thing. They used to say that when it comes to pure talent, there were many players who were more talented than Korchnoi. But when it came to defending inferior positions or just grabbing a pawn and then like quenching opponents' initiative, this is what Korchnoi excelled at. Very good at defense because he was very good calculator. And that's the reason why I think his games are very good to study. In fact, one of the statistics which makes it very obvious how good he was as a defender is from the fact that Mikhail Tal played with him several times and has never managed to win. Korchnoi has always beaten him.
What a fact.
So that's the reason why, the speculative sacrifices that Tal used to play against so many players never worked against Korchnoi.
Wow.
And
I mean, I can imagine how interesting it would be for Tal. It's like, अरे ये time मैं जीतूंगा ही जीतूंगा. That kind of, and Korchnoi is like, no, dude, I'm not going to let you win with your sacrifices. But one more thing I can tell you about Korchnoi is I used to always say, like, the passion he had. He played till 80. He went down 2300 and something.
No, never 23. 2500 he was.
How? Are you sure?
Yes.
100%?
Yes.
Okay, what is his current rating? I don't know. But maybe guys in the chat can help. But
you know that he's no more, right?
Come on, of course.
You said current rating, that's why. Yeah.
So I used to say that I want to play chess like Korchnoi till 80. So that, like, he really played.
Yeah. He was. So there were many things about him. One was that he was very old till he played, and I remember he was in his 70s when he beat Caruana, I believe. And there were some amazing games he played when he was very old. And another thing which I think was interesting is the fact that he was a non-conformist, which means that he was from the Soviet Union, but he was against the system in some ways, and he defected. He went and he settled in Switzerland. He always kind of had a tough relation with Soviet authorities, and that's why even when he played against Karpov, although both of them were from like originally the same country, like the Soviet Union, it was a clash of kind of ideologies there. And his matches with Karpov were amazing. There were 2 world championship matches that they played, and I think you should check that out. Those games, I think they were very nice. And I think maybe one of those players who deserved to be a world champion but could never become one. And if we had this list, maybe I would put Rubinstein, Keres, Korchnoi. From the modern generation, maybe Aronian. Yeah, like maybe these are the players who would come in that list. Of course, we have more players as well, but these are some of the names.
Abhijit says, wow, Amrita, it's good that it's your anniversary. Abhijit, भाई वो मतलब इसका क्या मतलब है? It's good. वो तो रहने ही वाला है.
Well, it's because you said something which was not very appropriate, and then so everyone is going to be like, okay, आज anniversary है तो एक गलती माफ, like something like that.
And people, you can maybe check out some funny videos related with Abhijit Gupta. Yesterday he had come, Did You Tell, on Clips channel. It was really funny. So don't miss that. Sachin, by the way, we have a new member, Sagar.
Arunav Bhattacharji, thank you so much for becoming supporter of Indian chess. Thank you.
Sachin asks, wow, you met Korchnoi. How was it? Like, was he aggressive off the board? I heard.
Yes, but when we met him, he was already in a wheelchair. He was not very active, but he was, when he played chess, you could see his eyes lighting up. And
yeah, exactly. He was playing that event on wheelchair.
Yes.
Shashank says, can I suggest a book without having read it yet? I got a book called The Women of the Mahabharata, The Question of Truth by Chaturvedi Badrinath. Might appeal to the feminist in Amrita. But I don't think I'm a feminist, but I'm not a mythological person. So maybe not this one.
Well, I think what some of the books do in these things, like they teach you some modern lessons with some stories from that.
That would be, if like it's like this connection, then it would be interesting for sure. Oh, Sachin says my name never appears on the board. Happy for Siddharth Ranade, koi to Ranade aaya. Sachin, why I'm reading this comment is because actually मेरे mind में आया कि अरे सचिन का तो बहुत दिन बाद आ गया नाम, like even though I read it Siddharth Ranade, in my mind it was you only. So because of your comment, clear हो गया. Okay, Sachin, come on, तुम्हारा नाम आना है अभी.
We also have Sridhar Khirwal who says, can Dubov be called modern Mikhail Tal superfan? Yes, I can. I think
Maybe. I think even this, even Hans, I really think he's very creative.
Hans Niemann.
Yes, I mean, right now he's still at 26.
Yeah, he's around
50
2650.
around. But if he's able to, crack the 2750 thing,
But I think the
then
difference between Hans Niemann and Dubov is that Dubov is very creative as an opening player. And if you see his games, he will always have very good creative opening ideas where and then he takes risks, he calculates well, he's creative, and I mean, Dubov would be a complete package in general as an attacking player, but that's the nature of attacking players, that they also are prone to losing some games, because they take risks. So for him to maybe reach the candidates and then win the candidates and then challenge Carlsen, that's going to be a huge task. uh, he has to, and somehow players like, who are more solid in nature, like Caruana or Wesley So and Ding Lijian, all of them have better chances than creative players to excel somehow.
yeah, that is true.
But yeah, I mean, calling him the modern Mikhail Tal could be possible, but it's still, if you think about it, he has a long career ahead of him. So we need to wait and see how he performs still, because he's still very young. I think he's what, 23, 24, maybe something like that.
Oh,
I'm not checked his, but I think he might be 96 on, so 26 maybe.
My diary says, sir, you told about Korchna very well, thanks.
I want to know about Nigel Short. Okay, the moves are not happening. So before speaking about Nigel Short, let me just explain to you what is going on in the position and whether Harikrishna has realistic chances here to press. So one of the moves that comes to mind is Rook C3 here. However, Black has an interesting way to defend this pawn on C3, on B3. Can you find it? White to play. White to play here. It could be possible that my diary has a homework or an assignment by his.
To keep asking it. Like after
No,
Nigel
no.
Short, he'll come with another name, na? I mean, that's his plan.
Yes, but he has this assignment where all the world championship challengers he has to write about.
Oh.
And maybe it's in it.
Oh, that is a smart guess. Are you watching Sherlock Holmes?
Oh, Hikaru. Yeah, let's have a look at Hikaru's game. What are the moves that have been suggested? Let's check it out and see.
There is Rook G3, Bishop D2.
Fantastic Rook G3, guys. All those who found this move, kudos to you. The main point here is that after Rook G3, you cannot take on B3 because of Bishop C5 check and you lose the Rook. So Black is stabilizing in this position and you cannot make a move like this. The right move has been suggested by
Rishi Agarwal, Mr. Dum, Sid 1212, Paramita Das Gupta, Anukul Jain, Ayushman Mishra, Deepa Kinch Jadeja, Shaibi Vinod, Sangeet Sharat, and Prathamesh S.
So, not Rook C3. I was also wondering if Rook B2 is possible. But once again,
Anyway,
Rook
the same
G3,
idea.
same idea will come here. So that's the reason
So the
why.
King on F8 is tied down for the G7, but even, I mean, to progress, what do you do with white?
Wesley goes Bishop C5 and he tells,
Rook endgame is the easiest
Yeah.
to draw. Okay.
let's go to the Rook endgame is what his idea is, Amruta. And now Harikrishna has to decide. I like one move here, which is Rook E4, because then after I take, and my Rook is beautifully positioned to defend B3 and also E5. But now comes the point. I go King E7 and I tell I tell white that even though you are a pawn up, your king has been cut off.
Correct.
My rook is active and my king is going to sit on E6, constantly keeping pressure. Yes, you can play
No,
F4.
not F4, G4.
Okay, you can play G4 as well, but then
King E6.
I might go like say something like a very...
Why not king e6?
I was thinking, like, let's simplify. b5. The main point is that if you take, I'll go rook c5, and then I will attack this pawn. Next move, I'll go king e6. So let's say you try to play f4. Now I'll take on b5. You try to bring your king up here, and now
Rook b4 and a4. 4 versus 3 would be a draw, no? This kind of
rook
4
b4.
versus 3.
I'm just a little scared with the space you have, but yeah, I mean, sure. This should be a theoretical draw. Okay, f5, but black can wait here and try to hold this. So, like, rook a5, this should be a draw. So this is what Wesley So is hoping for. I think Harikrishna has not too many chances, but at least some chance. But we can all see how good of a defender Wesley So is. Okay.
But Deepa and Chanda, thank you for your super chat.
So what was the question was about Nigel Short. When I was young, I read a book about Nigel Short, which was written by his father. And he had written about how Nigel Short was an amazing chess prodigy. Amrita, he was very young when he picked up the game, and he actually did some amazing feats at a very young age. And somewhere he got distracted. The book ended with the part where Nigel was into music and he was not sure whether he will continue his chess career or stuff like that. But then, I mean, the book ended at that point. It was called Nigel Short, a Chess Prodigy. And for the betterment of, for the better good for the chess community, Nigel continued as a chess player. He went on to play Garry Kasparov in the World Championship match in 1993. At that point, there was FIDE was broken into two parts. Like, FIDE had its own World Championship match, and Kasparov said, I will have my own World Championship. So there was a World Championship that was held between Karpov and Anand, through FIDE route, and there was Kasparov playing Nigel Short. And, it was a mess in that sense, but, Short was one of the strongest players back then, maybe top 3 in the world. And his game against Timon has been something of known by everyone, Amrita, the famous king walk, where the king walks from G1, H2, G3, F4, G5, H6. So a very creative player, very aggressive player. And also he loves India because he's been here so many times. He's also won so many tournaments in India. In fact, we have spent time with him when he's here, and always a great conversationalist.
We had gone to Haldiram's with him when he came for this Kolkata tournament a few years ago.
And great conversations with him, very knowledgeable about many topics. When you meet him, it's never a dull moment. Also, he's now the FIDE vice president, so he's into chess politics as well. Yeah, a legend in the world of chess. I would say a very, very diverse personality.
Wow, that was a nice information, Sagar. And we have a member, while you were telling this, Lalu Bhandari has become the backer of Indian chess.
Thank you, Lalu. So bishop c5 played here. Let's go to Hikaru's game. Yeah, that's what you guys wanted to see. Hikaru versus Esipenko. And wow, look at Hikaru's position. Amrita, we were on queen c4, bishop f5, bishop b2, queen d7. And Hikaru played a very interesting move. He took on e4. Now, the point is, the bishop, if it settles on f3 and the queen comes here, it's a mate. But Hikaru said, I'm going to put my pawn on f3, pushing the bishop back, and then rook c1. And somehow, it seems like this bishop is more effective than this bishop.
Yeah, surely.
Rook e7, queen f4, f6, rook c4, rook d8, rook fc1, queen e6.
Oh, it's a mistake. The engine says.
Yes, queen e6 was a blunder
Bar
by Esipenko. I mean, he had to maybe go rook c8 as a defensive idea, but here now Hikaru to play and
Did he find? Let's
take
see.
the full point home. And I
Live
think,
game नहीं है ना?
No.
तो सबको दिखेगा.
it's a very nice move, and I think he will find it.
Is this a new trick that a lot of people are saying like I want to go to sleep? एक shout out दे दो. Guys, good night.
Yes, Nigel Short is a fan of cricket. Yes, absolutely. I mean, he's from England, and of course, in most of the like many of the Commonwealth countries, cricket is quite huge. So, let's see the moves that are suggested. B5, fantastic, guys. Well done.
Shaibi Binoj, Mr. Dam, Rahul Agarwal, Bad Boys, Sid 1212, Priyanka PI, Arnav Kadam, Sal's the Music Band, Udit Mohanty, and Shaurya Takyan.
So the point why B5 is such a good move here, and which Hikaru has played,
Oh, he played it.
is because you need to move the bishop. Now let's say
Almost
if you go,
it's forced, yeah, you have to take because anyway you will lose the c7.
yeah, if you go bd5, I'll take on c7. I'm pawn up,
Yes.
right? So you go to bishop takes b5, but now Amruta, instead of taking c7, which looks good, I can also play rook e4, attacking the queen.
Okay.
Let's say you go
Queen
back,
f7.
queen
Okay,
d7
queen
or
d7,
queen
whatever.
f7. I take,
Queen
you
takes,
take, and now I take on c7. And if you were to
Rook
play
d7.
rook d7, I would go check. You would go here, and now
Draw.
no, I think there is an interesting line here which could start. I mean, with bishop takes f6, g takes f6, queen g4 check. Now, if
Yeah,
you,
I mean if you take queen, you can show, na? If queen f6 would be a blunder here.
yeah, because queen takes, pawn takes, and rook d8.
Yes.
So
gf6
gf.
is forced.
Now I give a check. Let's say you go king h8. I have a question to the chat now. Let's see how many can answer. White to play and win. This is a tough one, guys. What do you do? I want to see who's awake here. Aditya Narayanan says, please shout out before I sleep here. Love from Odisha. Okay, sleep well. But solve this and sleep.
Aditya and there was Divash Teung also love from Nepal. He's also going to bed.
Oh, nice.
So sure.
Guys, if you find the right answer, then shout outs make sense. No, if you go to sleep and then shout out, then
Then what will the people who are finding right?
wow, look at this, Amruta. I want to, all those who find the right answer here are really, really strong players. Brilliant job, guys. Brilliant job by Valanka Fernandez, Shaibi Binoj, Pranay Chordia, Bondita Bhagwati, Devansh Wadhwa, Darshan Borole, Anda Burger, Arnav Kadam, Satvik Gulakaram, and Sriram Chakradev. The move is queen b4.
Wow.
I attack the bishop and the queen. If you take the queen, intermediate check, and then I take on b4.
Super tactic. Super. Bishop f6 is brilliant. And I think it's typical Nakamura type. I mean, he won't miss that in a classical game.
Yes.
For
But
sure. I mean, unless he's very bored to calculate, which this game won't be that way.
But by the way, bishop d5 has happened, rook e4 also has happened, and instead of queen d7, he went queen f7, take on e7 and queen e7. So now Naka will take on c7. Going to the game of Hari Krishna.
Abhijit has suggested a move in Hari's game.
You know, guys, when Abhijit suggests a move, it's like a very strong player is putting his mind there and trying to think of ways in which to keep the game going. And I think an excellent suggestion here, because if you take with the bishop, then after rook d4, now my threat is rook d7, which
So
can
let's
be.
say king e7. If I go like will it not convert into that rook endgame style which we were thinking
Yes,
of?
but now
What is the difference?
I keep my rook active.
So
And
king
Amruta, after
I have to go
a5,
b6.
you go b6, I go rook b5, I attack your pawn, you go rook c6. And now you will see the difference that instead of e3, where my rook was passive, on b5, my rook not only defends this but also attacks b6. So now after I bring my king up and with pawn push, white will be winning.
Correct,
This is a winning position.
Beautiful.
So bishop d4, rook d4, king e7 is a mistake, allows rook d5. So
you have to go rook c5 right now, let's say.
Rook c5?
Yes. I mean,
yes, maybe, but rook c5. Now I go rook d8 check, king e7 and rook b8.
Yeah,
Once
you are
again,
also going for the, like, you are e5 gaya to chalega if you win.
Yeah, of course. If I win this, I would be very happy.
Yeah.
So if you go back again, your king is passive and I try to activate it.
Correct.
So bishop c5, bishop d4 takes. Maybe here rook c3 could be an idea to attack here. Because if you go rook d5, I have rook b3.
Then rook a5 I have, but
yes,
one pawn less.
So here you can go b4, Amruta, and then let's say a b4, rook b4, and there is pressure. So
this is, I mean, in comparison to the position, this is like the best possibility to continue. But one question is what if black does not take on d4?
He shouldn't, I think, yeah.
Then he can go what? Bishop b4?
Maybe b6. It's an improving move, and if you
take this, bishop takes,
then I can take rook c5, attacking this pawn. And if you have to become passive, then it's nothing. Then
we already know it's
then king e7, king e6,
and b5.
So, but it is, guys, these are the kinds of moves you have to find and you have to play to keep the kind of fire going in the position. So Abhijit says after bishop d4, b6, how about e6? That's an interesting move because now he's threatening g7, Amruta. And I must take now because otherwise it's a problem. So after rook d4, I go, if I take fe6, then there is rook d6 attacking e6 and b6. So I can't take on e6, but maybe rook c3 is what I would do. Attacking here, but you see, it's like you have to be accurate. Yeah, b4, and now maybe now fe6. Somehow you manage to now rook d6. There is a b4.
So the whole thing is whether Wesley can defend it accurately.
Yeah, but Amruta, bishop d4 was not played, although very interesting. Harikrishna went rook e4. And I think this transposes into what we saw bishop after e3. take, and we saw what, king b6 e7. Or
no,
king
b5,
e7?
b5. We saw b5.
b5, yeah.
That's again a very nice move. My diary super chat says, sir, thanks for Nigel's short story. So Nigel was not a short story, it was a Nigel long story. Can you tell us about Karpov versus Spassky versus Anand? Karpov versus Spassky versus Anand. 3 players है, तो he is trying किया भाई, चल से एक पता नहीं रहेगा तुमको तो कोई तो पता रहेगा types,
No, but Karpov versus Spassky versus Anand means you have to compare these 3 players or what?
Super chat is not clear. Yeah, all about rook activity.
Vidit drew, guys. Vidit drew today. And Harikrishna is still playing. He's a pawn up against Wesley. But as we just saw right now, I think the game might end in a draw with p5. Going back,
some people I have asked about India's Got Talent.
Yes, the India's Got Talent, guys. I have an update which I gave yesterday night to all of you. But today, tomorrow there will be more updates that will come up. Today I didn't want to call any guest because it's our anniversary, and Amruta is the guest today.
Oh, so that's a special privilege.
Yeah.
today.
So that's why, but tomorrow I will, and you will get more updates on that. Rapport, PRT says Rapport has sacrificed a piece just to show what is happening in this group. Alexei Shirov and Leinier Dominguez, which is Harikrishna's group, because Harikrishna is maybe drawing his game against Wesley So, which will mean that Harikrishna will go on 1 out of 2. Wesley So will be also on 1 out of 2. While Shirov and Dominguez are both on half points, it seems like Dominguez can win this, Amruta. Because look at Shirov's position. It is very weird placement of pieces. Dominguez is very active. And I think knight b5 with the idea of knight c3 or knight a3 looks very dangerous.
Yeah.
So
coordination is clearly better for black.
So it is black's move here. And by the way, this comes from this very interesting opening where you bring your queen out. And then it's a very weird knight d4 and d5. Wow, what a move. I don't know if this is all theory, but it seemed like black.
They were having 22-25 minutes. I think it's very original and they're playing.
No, I mean, I know this opening, Amruta. This is a very well-known system. In fact, there's this nice game between Leon and Gukesh once also, I think, here. I mean, there are many games that have happened, but yeah. So this one, Dominguez better. Dubov versus Aronian draw. Vincent Keymer versus Vidit Gujarati draw. Richard Rapport and Fedosiev. You know, Amruta, yesterday Fedosiev beat Oparin, and today he is in trouble.
Fedosiev is also one of the very highly creative players.
Yes.
Really amazing.
But look at what Richard Rapport has done against him. He has sacrificed a piece, and he is telling Fedosiev that I'm going to take on a8, bishop a8, move my rook in, and try to weave a mating net around your king.
Whoa, is that even
possible? Which might not be easy to weave a mating net, but he might lose some
Sagar,
people.
I'm already very surprised with this position. I'll tell you why. I mean, you're a piece down. The bar is saying you're better. Really need to understand why. Can we be at the last position?
Yeah, just to show you guys where the piece sacrifice actually occurred is this, where he played king f2. I mean, bishop f1 was possible to save the piece, but Rapport went here, takes king g3, rook c2, king h4, getting his king in, check. I mean, two crazy players. Yeah, here maybe king f8 was better move. That would have given black better chances, but king g6 he went in. Now, as we said, you know, these things check, and take on f7. So he played rook a8 and now rook h d1. And it seems like the threat, Amruta, is to take on a8, bishop a8, rook d8. Then you have, let's say, if you go to c6, I have b5. So your bishop goes to b7. I give a check, king h7. I give a check, king h8. I take on f7. Now the bishop is attacked here. Bishop does not have squares. It goes back. I give a check here and I win the bishop.
Okay, let me ask you, all the viewers, how many of you have actually understood what Sagar said? I understood, but I believe a lot of people may want to see the variation. I mean, how many of you want to see the variation on the board? It's beautiful, yeah?
Yeah, it's nice. Actually, I mean, but
even
how,
right
let's
now,
say knight b3. Amruta, it's a...
No, if rook d... What about rook d8 also? Are we converting into that variation?
Yes, sort of. Let's say take here.
Understood, nothing, me se kuch pata. How many of you understood? Me is understood.
By the way, I made a huge blunder, Amruta. I made a huge blunder. If they understood, then that.
Oh, many people understood.
No, but Amruta, king h7, I was saying rook g7 all the time. But there is knight f6 mate.
Oh, mate है क्या? मैं तो knight f6 देखा भी. पर मैं mate, oh, I also made a huge blunder then.
So, that doesn't seem good.
Okay, so what if rook d8, because at least your bishop on b7 is not attacked, right?
But now mate
and now
threatened.
you can, yeah, rook g8 and knight f6 is a mate threat. Can you go king h7 already? Anyway, knight f6 check, king g6, no, king g, what? King g6, e5.
No, let's go back here.
Draw है क्या? Draw by
I was
repetition.
thinking now, Amruta, this move.
Bishop c6.
Yeah, take.
King f7.
King
f7.
f7.
King g6. Mine means well.
Yeah, rook g7 mate.
King g8.
King g8 and rook c7. And now you will see that white has 3 pawns. That is good enough compensation for a piece.
No, but g2 is hanging right now. c4 is hanging. So
this is hanging now.
And bishop is hanging. Yeah, but I'll save it. Let's say bishop e8. Knight f6 check is lost. Rook c8. Rook c8 and you win the piece back.
Not sure about this because rook g2.
Rook e8.
No, rook e8,
rook
king
e8,
f7.
king f7.
So knight e8. Yeah, it's
king d7 and rook g8 is the idea.
I mean
Direct
your king is also kind of trapped. So
no, अभी rook g8 ही आ रहा है ना right now. Knight d6.
So
ठीक है, it's a little bit complicated.
No, but Amruta, look at this. What has happened here?
Yes.
After, oh my God, this is crazy. Because he took on c4 here, rook a8, bishop a8, rook d8.
Now
bishop
mate
takes
into
e4, and now unbelievable.
for rook g8 he has king f5, right?
No, if you take here, then this is hanging, correct?
Correct.
So that would be bad. And as Amruta said, if check here, then king f5, and black is actually better now after take because somehow he's pawn up. So there is a very classy move here for white. Can you find it?
Wow.
No, it's not easy. It's not easy, guys. What a great move. Richard Rapport, so creative. So creative. Manmai Chopra says, when is India's got chess talent starting? Well, I would select first, then talk with the judges and the trainers, and maybe let's say somewhere in towards the mid Feb or the sort of second half of the end, like around 20th Feb, I would say.
Sid asked, Samrita ma'am, do you know Shashikant Kotwal? He was my coach. Yes, Sid, he is of course like a family member to me. We call him Manlela Bhau, so I know him very well. And he's a very strong player. So nice that you're learning from him.
Let's see what the moves have been suggested here, Amruta. The moves that have been suggested, G4,
yeah.
Tremendous move.
Yeah.
And you know, guys, the idea is to check and king doesn't come
renewing the mating net.
What a brilliant concept by Richard Rapport, and right move.
Has it happened in the game?
Yes.
Wow, it is by Aditya Jain, Shaibi Binoj, Samarth Gandhi, Abhimanyu Singla, Deepakinsh Jadeja, Ayushman Mishra, Satvik, Sid 1212, Mariam Fatima, and roll number 80.
His name is Deepak Singh.
Roll number 80 ka?
Nahi. You are saying Deepak Kinsh. So Deepak Singh.
Okay.
So here he has to go back because threat was rook g8 and knight f6 mate. And now we take on e4. This time you can't take back because there's knight f6 check. e5 is coming up. It's better. So fe4 has happened. e5 has been played by Fedosiev. But you know, guys, this is the group where the fight is going to be tremendously intense, Amruta. Because Fedosiev won yesterday with Oparin.
Okay.
Wojtaszek beat Rapport. And now Rapport is beating Fedosiev. So now the question is, what is happening with Wojtaszek? If Wojtaszek is losing, no, it's equal. So maybe a draw here, which means Wojtaszek on 1.5, Rapport on 1, Fedosiev on 1, and Oparin on half.
Too much.
And Hikaru Nakamura. Oh, guys. This has happened in Hikaru Nakamura's game. 27 moves have been completed. 13 minutes for Hikaru And the question is, will Hikaru Nakamura...
Oh, but 5 minutes for Esipenko. Esipenko. So, there is no synergy between right and left brain right now.
Esipenko?
अरे slip of हो जाता है.
Oh, he's played check. He's played check, and now
Yeah, rook
Amrita, it's
d8.
very important to play rook d8 because if you play king here, then
Queen
I guess
b4. No,
queen
then what?
f5 or queen h4 can get really strong. So rook d8, and now we are coming to this line of bishop takes f6. Let's see if Hikaru is going to play that.
So right now, if bishop f6 is the move he has to find.
Oh, he goes rook d8. Yes, he goes. And now Hikaru.
Oh, will Hikaru find bishop f6? Guys, what do you think?
I think so. I think so.
What do you think?
By the
What
way,
do
we
you
have a couple of super chats by Sachin Paul, who says, other day Karyakin was so annoyed at Magnus's Berlin. Why can't he just do what Hari did and play this beautiful A4 idea? Is it new? No, Sachin, I think it's not new. It has been played before, but there are more ways for black to equalize. We'll try to analyze it to show you Wesley So went wrong somewhere. So we will try to analyze using the ChessBase and Mega database and try to see what is the way to equalize for black. Also not using engine. What about rook g8, king f5, knight g3, capturing the bishop? You mean in the Rapport Fedosiev game here, where after rook d8, bishop e4, g4. Instead of g4, he was suggesting check, king f5, and now knight g3, king e5, and knight e4. The only problem is that after f5 you will lose the piece, so you can't take with the knight, and if you take with the pawn, then after I can take rook b4 also, and I can also play f5 when this pawn is pinned, and you will notice that the number of pawns is equal, so it's not a great idea to do that. What Rapport did with g4 was very strong. And now we have reached this position, knight f6, king here, and rook d6. I think Richard will win this.
Yeah, the black king is definitely very bad.
Yeah, now knight will sit, maybe b6 will fall. So that looks bad. Agastya Srinivasan, thank you. Says happy anniversary, Amrita Sagar. Thank you, Agastya.
Thank
It's very kind of you. And we have Asim Khan, who sent a super chat. Asim, whom we met in Dubai, says, happy anniversary, Sagar and Amrita. Sending loads of love and wishes. Saw your Insta post and would recommend you a book. Read Tuesdays with Mori. I think I had read this. Tuesdays with Mori is written. Is there something like a eulogy? Is it like a eulogy? I think I have read it.
But how will you read? Like, we don't have it. Achha, somewhere else.
I had a life before 18 also.
Yeah, thanks for reminding.
Maybe I read it at some point. I don't know. So,
You read this, no? Not using engine?
yes. By the way, Harikrishna's game, now after rook e4, bishop e3, rook e3, king e7, f4. I mean, we were expecting Wesley to go b5 at the right time. Let's see if he does that. But actually, Wesley is delaying it with g6. And Hari has gone rook d3. And Amrita, now, I think Wesley So should really think about b5 or rook c5 with the idea of b5. Because if he is passive for too long, it can become very dangerous.
Arey, when you said it, it's happened. Wesley
Yeah.
is not going to miss this chance. So, not much. By the way, Sheikh Basit writes a compliment. 2 people have given their blood to Indian chess, Anand and Sagar. Future generation would never forget the contribution of you guys.
I mean, of course, Anand has done so much, but there are so many people who have done much more than what I have done, and I think there are so many who have been working behind the scenes for over 2 to 3 decades, so clearly There are so many great personalities. And Amruta, what I have realized in this pandemic is that the organizers who organize tournaments are so important for the chess ecosystem.
Yeah.
Because now that the tournaments are not happening, you feel like, oh my God, please, when
कोई
is
तो
it
tournament
restarting?
करो.
Because it's so important for chess that over the board chess happens. There are tournaments, there is rating, there's so many things associated with it. And organizers, when a lot of tournaments were happening in India, sometimes you don't realize the amount of effort it takes to organize an event.
Yeah, it's like the survival. Yeah, it's so needed to understand your passion, your psychology. When we went to World Rapid and Blitz also, the mistakes where piece गिर जाता है, you just forget, you zone out. It's also different than online chess for sure.
Yeah.
Dushman says super chat, and Sagar bhai, any advice on anger management in chess?
Anger management in chess.
Specific. That's a very good question, Dushman.
I think overall anger management in itself is a very important thing. And I myself have been kind of grappling with it, how to do it. But I think generally you get angry when things don't pan out the way you have expected. And I think it's very important to kind of, like as Bruce Lee says, flow like water, be water, my friend. So it's like, if you have really huge expectations from yourself, it is very natural to get angry at some point, because you didn't get, even if you really wanted to win and then you don't win, it's natural.
Yeah.
But if you kind of
Also, different people have different opinions. Like, I have seen some of the people, title players, they are saying that you have to feel that anger, no, when you lose. Otherwise, what's the point? But one of the important thing is how long you're going to have that. Like, your recovery time is another important thing.
Also, sometimes,
in terms of
professional success comes at a personal cost.
Yes.
This is what I think I've started to realize, because some of the things you do in order to be really good at your profession are actually detrimental to a peaceful personal
No,
life.
absolutely, right? I mean, when we were traveling for 1 year, there also, like, if you read one of our article as well, that it was a conscious decision to keep the personal life aside, because it's impossible to manage everything. So those will be the phases where you must be aware at what you are choosing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I think maybe trying to really keep your expectations in check could be a way. And it's a very short answer, but it takes a lot of practice, yeah, to keep your anger in check. But I think it's very important. If you can't do that, then what's the point? Yeah. By the way, rook d8, and I just want to analyze a few variations here, Amruta.
Totally.
After bishop f6, as we saw, queen f6 is bad, so you have to take g takes f6.
Now you said
Now I
queen
give a
g4.
check. We saw king h8 failing to queen b4. So let's say now there are two more moves to consider. You can't go queen g7 because rook d8 hangs. So you go king f7. Firstly, we think about this. Now I give you a check. And the problem is, with this check, the bishop on b5 is hanging. So in all lines, that will be an issue. Let's say king g7, I take, you take, and I play this, and I am pawn up, and also your pawns are weak. So that does not work, Amruta. So king f8 looks very logical. And now this is the moment where I want you guys to figure out what should white play, because this is another defensive attempt for black. But if you see all this, you will play bishop f6. What is the move? Yeah, my diary says, what do you think about Karpov-Spassky? Very quickly, I want to address this. Karpov-Spassky was a brilliant match that happened in the candidates, one of the candidates, I believe. And at some point, Karpov got the better of Spassky, and their games in the Caro-Kann are amazing. Spassky playing 1e4, Karpov responding with the Caro-Kann, and in many games, Karpov finding some amazing moves. I think one of the end games with black is so beautiful. Maybe I'll show it in my next Learn from Classic series. You really should check it out. And I think the main reason why Spassky could not beat Karpov was because Karpov was really, really good at prophylaxis and kind of quenching Spassky's initiative, and then making his life very difficult in the positional sense. Yes, very good, guys. This is the right answer. I just want to see how many have found it. Rook
Many
d8.
people.
Brilliant.
Chess Donkey, Deepak Sin Jadeja, Mr. Dum, roll number 80, Ishan Shah, Yash Gadia, Anand Nerkar, Pratik Bhatt, Mahesh S.A. and Aditya D.
Yeah, so this is the right move. You take on d8 and queen takes, and now queen b4 check, and you win the bishop. And Amruta, Nakamura has taken it. This just goes to show that he is such a good player, guys. Even though he plays so much online, even though he plays so much blitz, and
the chat also predicted that he is going to take it. By the way, Sagar, they both have only 4 minutes. How many moves to go?
Yes, there is 10 more moves to make, but I think, Amruta, now it's very clear how the game is going to progress. King f8 has been played. He will take. Yes, he's done that. And you see, this is how top level players play. They calculate for a lot of time, and then they have like line sorted out. Now queen b4 also. So we will have 32 moves done.
Correct.
And then there are 8 more moves to make with 5. I mean, what is he thinking? There's only one move. Otherwise, you're piece down. Yeah, he gives a check, takes, and queen a3. Esipenko putting pressure. Yeah, here, Amruta.
That's what I was going to ask you, Sagar, because here the pawn on d3 is like an irritant, and this it is very advanced in that sense. So this queen endgame may not be very easy to convert, right, for white.
Also, if you
I'm
are
not understanding.
not careful and you take on b6, then queen c1 check and you lose d2.
Yes, and then maybe even black is winning.
Yeah, black could be better there. So
Of course, he will not make that blunder.
look at this. This is Nakamura there.
So is he going to go for e4?
No,
that king pawn endgame would be lost, right? e4, queen c5 check.
No, but not now, Amruta. What I would do is, firstly, now I'm threatening to win this pawn. If you go like queen here, then I'll take on d3. So you might go queen d6 to keep everything under control here. But now, let's say I go queen f5. And the main point is that after g4, h4, like I'll try to play h4, h5. White's play on the king side looks amazing.
What happened?
My diary super chat.
You explained Spassky Karpov good. Can you tell about something about Spassky versus Anand? Okay, my diary. One thing before. First is, what is your name? Second is, what is the name of the project you're working on?
It's my diary.
Yeah, so that is the thing.
I don't even know if they have played Spassky Anand. Yeah, I just checked in Mega Database. They have played twice.
No, wait. He has to do some effort. He has to tell his name.
Yeah, but he has played twice. Anand Spassky. And the score is 1.5 in Anand's favor. Yeah, this game I have never seen before. And Anand beat Spassky. It was in 1989 in Cannes. Interesting.
Okay, I don't know how serious it is or if I should read, but I'm reading, Sagar. Aditya says, ChessBase India, I'm a 17-year-old student and I have offline exams, also preparing for a competitive exam. Due to online learning, I couldn't study. I've been very suicidal. Can you guide me?
No, I think overall, guys, don't write these things. There are two things I want to address here. Firstly, please, Aditya, take proper steps here. Talk to people who are close to you. And we are not the people with the things to help you, but we really hope that you talk to the right people. That is very important, and please don't feel this way, right? Because whatever it is, you will come out of it, and don't worry.
Yeah, life is precious.
Yeah, please don't take stress.
Krishna Prasad says, Sagar and Amrita ma'am, please see this. My move suggestion is not shown in move log every time. Maybe you are slow, no? Then, or your
Yeah, it shows top
generally
10.
that top 10.
But yeah, I'll try to read it next time for few more people. Sometimes I do try to take time out.
So what is your prediction? Like the bar is saying that white is better, okay? Do you think Nakamura would be able to convert this, Sagar? I'm not sure practically how easy it is going to be.
For me, it seems like, let's say, Queen D6 is most natural, Amrita, keeping control of B6 and D3. And let's say I go H4, and you keep, say, King F7. I go check, you go here. I maybe play another check somewhere. You go to F7, and I put my queen here. Then I'm attacking here and here. Oops, sorry. And take here. King G8 maybe. But you know, Amrita, the main point here to note is that slowly and steadily, white will try to push his pawns, while black's pawns are not going anywhere so quickly.
But you know, the major issue which I am like feeling intuitively is you cannot exchange the queens easily.
I can play queen d4.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because if you take, this is lost. Because if you play b5, king e3,
you vacated
d4,
the e3
king
square,
d3.
and that's why you're fast.
So that's the reason why I will shift your queen from this very important square and then take this and then go g. So that is why I think this ability to play queen d4 is very important.
Right.
So he goes queen c5 here, and I think now Hikaru will take this pawn.
Okay, once that d3 pawn is lost, it should not be very difficult.
And you know, Esipenko is throwing caution to the winds. He's like, you know, this 40th move, 5 moves are left. Let me play as quickly as I can to kind of try for my chances. I'm also giving up another pawn. If I can push my pawn, you know, guys, in queen endgame, it's very important to have a runner. So, for example, like here, even if white is like 4 pawns up this side, if black is able, I'm just giving an example, b3 just loses a pawn, but let's say like this, now this position is a draw. Although you are like 3 pawns up, you cannot win because this pawn is very powerful. So this is what Esipenko is trying for at the cost of giving up. But so precise calculation has to come into the picture.
Yeah. So with less time, you can make some mistakes, no? Because it's not easy to calculate queen endgames.
Yes.
Even we have seen so many maximum mistakes on top level in queen endgames. You're winning and you mess it up.
Oh, he's played queen c3. And once again, you can't take it. So slowly, I think Hikaru will win this. And I think Hikaru's play in this game has been exceptional. Maybe the best game of today. Backrow versus Grishchuk is still going on. At the end, Backrow is... What? There's a check here. Maybe very, very interesting position here, Amrita. Last 10 seconds left, 9 moves to make.
Oh, 10 seconds.
You know, players come under some unbelievable time pressure. Queen f7 by Etienne Backrow. And now Grishchuk has, what, 2 minutes to figure out what to do next.
Hey, what happens? He's defended f2.
But what about this? Maybe take this one.
4?
94, maybe queen e4, no? Rook e4, rook
it's a
c1 mate.
blunder. So maybe first escape
G3,
square.
G3,
Which one? G3 or H3?
G3 maybe, and then knight e4. Yeah, looks good. I think white is better here. He's not taken here. He's thinking. And also Hikaru versus Esipenko. So here in this group, all are draw. Yesterday all drew. So back row Grishchuk. Maybe if whoever wins will join Hikaru at
And
the
what
top.
about Fedosey
Oh,
is
nice
winning?
move by Grishchuk. What a great move. If you take Amruta, this bishop is opened up.
But
Fantastic.
pawns, black is 1 pawn down.
But C2 is hanging and then this is hanging. So
But it's a draw.
yeah, it will be a draw. Wojtaszek Oparin drew. Wojtaszek Oparin drew their game, and that means Rapport has a good chance, and he's winning. He's winning. Richard Rapport is winning. We also have Shirov Dominguez. I think Dominguez is winning this. The queen is coming in to a1 at the right. If the rook is there, but this diagonal is so weak. E3 is there. And rook d8. Black is winning this. And Harikrishna versus Wesley. So this is what we analyzed.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
It seems difficult to win because firstly, white, how to make progress. This is pressurized. The rook cannot move.
Yeah, this is pretty easy.
So,
But they'll play.
One of the very famous rook endgames, which I want to tell the chat in this, is Yates Capablanca Yates. So I'll pull that up and then we can compare this game to it, and then we can understand.
Ankit says, love you, Sagar bhai. My lockdown was amazing just because of you. I used to watch every single stream of yours while working in night, and last year I flew to US. Thank you.
It's very good. And I think we met today also someone on the road who said something similar, that in the lockdown they had a very good time following us. And I always feel that life has these waves, and I think we have to really stay steady when it goes down, because soon it will go up. Things will go up in general, and it helps when you have somebody with whom you can share what is going wrong. And I think during the low phase, that is important.
Yes.
To talk it out with someone.
Totally.
Like, yes, today I was not feeling so well, and I spoke like with Amruta for an hour about what I was feeling, and then it felt better. So just doing that could be very useful.
Manmai Chopra says, any tips for me? My FIDE rating is 1951. Oh, your FIDE rating is
No, Manmai is the brother of Tanmay Chopra, Amruta. And they both, Tanmay, who we have video on ChessBase India, and he was, he showed us, he's now 2200 plus.
Okay.
And I think he's his brother, if I'm not mistaken. So this is a very chess family, and they are he's very strong, Manmai.
1950.
So I think Manmai, maybe have to look at your games carefully, but maybe your brother is the right person to ask, right? He's already very strong. So by the way, just look at this position carefully, right? And let's go and check this game between Capablanca and Yates, because there you will understand a very important thing that happened. So this is Capablanca versus Yates. This is a drawn position, Amruta. 4 versus 3. And by the way, once upon a time, and maybe Manmai, this is good for you, I was around 2200 and I was feeling like I'm not improving. I need to do something. And that time I read this book, Practical Rook Endgames by Korchnoi.
Yes, exactly. Oh my god.
You also read?
I was reading that with Soumya, and I used to prepare it together.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, alone, if you do that rook endgame, you'll fall off to sleep. So
no, I did it alone. Of course, yes, I did it alone. And the point is, it was very complicated with many lines.
Okay.
And one of the endgames he analyzes in that game, in that book, is this one. And what Korchnoi does is that he goes deep into variations. And I remember that I was going through it. I was not understanding many of them, but I was carefully looking through. And it really helped me to analyze how to analyze.
No, and it will help you also in many of your rook end games because it shows you some very typical patterns and tactical ideas, it was an amazing book, really.
Mm.
And then how much, how long did you study that book? How
Yeah, I
many?
think I studied not the entire book, but I remember this was the second or the third endgame. Even whatever I saw was very useful.
Yeah.
So here, if you see Amruta, I think somewhere black should have played h5 here, which would have been good because when you are down material, you want to exchange pawns. But he played this, and at the right time, Capablanca went g4, king g3, then he went f4. Still, I think well within the drawing boundaries. King g2, h4, and now you will see that white is slowly pushing. Check
And you can
king
see
here.
the rook is active, na? White's rook on e5 is decently active.
Yes, and now comes a tough situation. Should you take with the pawn, giving him the e passer, or should you take with the king, isolating two of your pawns? So he took with the king in the game, and notice this position carefully, and we go to Harikrishna's game. So imagine that in this position, you take away these two pawns. Still, if you move this pawn away here, then we might get something similar to Capablanca Yates. With this structure, it's way more solid because there's only one weakness. So now we can see how Capablanca actually converted this endgame. By the way, guys, when you know these games, you can recall it very quickly. I use the mega database, I search on it, and then I put it up here for you to see. So there is a link for ChessBase and mega database in the description. You can check it out.
By the way, Shivam says check Rapport, where is quite a thrill.
Okay, I'll go there. Just finish this.
Or a quick check and then maybe okay because we can.
Yeah, no, I'm just. There is nothing much to show here. I think it's already winning this endgame.
He just gets his king also very active, yeah.
Yeah.
And then he pushes the e pawn because first he fixes the f7 pawn. That's
Check,
interesting.
and then he goes here e6. Yeah. And he goes on to win.
Nice.
It's a very nice move, by the way, g5 with an umbrella. Because if you had gone here directly,
then g4
then there is this check. So you give up this pawn, make an umbrella, and come here. And then you are winning because of rook h7 and f7. So going back to the game here, Rapport versus. I thought Rapport is winning, right? So.
Yeah.
Knight f5 check, king here, check, king here, rook b6, knight f4, king g5. Well, maybe, yeah, it seems like white is in control of things. Because king is coming to f6 next.
No, maybe king h6 with the idea of rook b8 mate.
Yeah, this also.
So king b6, f6 आएगा. नहीं, king h6 को f6 आएगा पर. So that's why you.
No, but king h6, f6, I'll just take.
Oh, so right now the threat is king h6.
Chandragupta Maurya gives an important suggestion. So Chandragupta Maurya will follow what you have said.
We have Devika Mishra who says, I want to buy Vedika's chocolates and I don't know who else to ask this. Which flavor should I go for? I'm confused.
My favorite is classic flavor, which is the standard one. Then Vedika later on introduced orange, which is very interesting because it has a tinge of orange in it. And then there is the choco chip one, which has the small chocolates in it, you know, like it's like inside it you have these small bits of chocolate. So
maybe, but it's orange season of oranges, so it's good to try orange.
Yes, I
and
would
classic. Anyway, yeah, it doesn't matter. It's a very personal taste. Yeah,
I don't know. I grew up eat. I mean, I was already grown up, but I grew up eating the classic flavor, so it's my favorite. But you can try all of them are very good.
Yeah.
Krishna still okay. So I will now improve this and put this here.
Okay. Chessmaker and me asks how to memorize position during playing blindfold. Memorize, you don't need to memorize matlab how to keep in mind. That's what he's saying. Okay. But for that, the very first thing is when you're playing normal chess, like with the board, and you are calculating, are you able to calculate it very fast with the notations and everything? That kind of a thing. Otherwise, you will really need to practice some long forcing calculations. Yeah, but starting with one position which is set on the board, because that will also help to improve. Because directly blindfold, you won't be directly able to improve.
So now Harikrishna is planning to get his king like this, but black has a very nice way to kind of kill the game. Can you find it, guys? Black to play. Dominguez won. Yeah, Dominguez has beaten Shirov.
Acha,
So
he beat,
Dominguez
yeah,
starts to lead in the D
Pool.
pool. D pool, and Harikrishna will draw most likely, but
Manmay says my brother is now more into studying. Ashish Gorpade says one of my students, Anvi Kulkarni, she doesn't play more online games for practice. Can you please tell her to play? Maybe she can listen to you. Ashish Gorpade says.
very difficult to say if that is a good advice or not. But if you are the coach and if you think that that is the important thing for her, then she should do it. But if it's not a given that everyone should play a lot of online games as such, but if it is good important for her and you think that that is the critical thing, I think one of the things is that if you are working with a trainer, then you have to trust what he tells you, or else you stop working with that trainer. Because I don't see this point that you work with a trainer and then you don't listen to that trainer. Then why are you working with that trainer?
Yeah, I mean that the point when you have to like, let's say even when you have to stop, that is a very your improvement is not happening, or
Yeah.
something which
Then you
really
change.
goes wrong. Yeah, when Magnus stopped working with Kasparov that time.
But I
So
mean,
that
that
was
was more
different.
out
That was
of, I
different.
mean, they worked for some
Right.
time.
Right now you generally try out what the trainer says,
Yeah.
unless it
Or else
really
you
doesn't suit you,
discuss.
or you suggest that this
Yeah.
doesn't suit me.
But I think in general, if you are working with a trainer, then you need to trust that trainer. Okay.
Correct.
By the way, going to the
Dynamic
questions.
Chess, thank you so much for your super chat, and he says happy anniversary to the dynamic couple. Dynamic is
You
his
know
favorite
who
word.
you know who he is.
No.
His
I mean, I
name is
knew.
Karthik. He is from Bangalore.
Okay.
We met him in several tournaments, and he's a very big chess lover. He plays in tournaments sometimes. He also has a corporate job, but he
Wow.
tries to, he has a YouTube channel as well. So guys, you can check
Nice.
out Dynamic Chess.
Thank you.
G5, brilliant. This is the move that I was actually looking for, because it kind of breaks the structure, also stops king h4. If you take on G5, I'll take on E5, and overall it works perfectly. So
Dhruv Maheshwari, Chess Walk, Shaibi Binoj, Sahil Shah, Arnav Kadam, Devinder Singh, Dungeon Master, Sushant Tiwari, Ishir Johari, and Samarth Gandhi.
yes,
I think
well,
Shaibi today has answered almost all.
yeah, she's very strong.
He.
She. No, she.
Okay.
I know. By the way, G5 was played, FG5, and I think Hari knows that this will end in a draw. She's actually Kerala state champion.
Shaibi winners.
Yes.
Oh.
Women's or some underage or open actually. She can tell us, but very good player.
Are Prathamesh, thank you so much. He wishes us happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Bye, Dada.
So rook e5 and now this is hanging. So Amruta, today
Yes.
has been an exciting day. But
Let's see the final position.
Bakro and Grishchuk have drawn. Nakamura against Esipenko, as we said, so the thing is,
winning.
how do you say that? When this position occurred, it was not very clear to you, Amruta, that white was winning, right? You were saying to me that it seems like black is doing okay.
He might be able to defend, yes.
But what Nakamura did is by offering queen trade at strategic moments, which black couldn't afford to do, he pushed the black queen really behind and now started to dominate, also pawn up, and now he's pushing. So beautiful, right?
Yes.
Because in our mind, it's like this pawn will queen.
Like
but
you
look at
said,
this.
He didn't allow a runner.
Yeah. So Dushman Kachodiwala says, thanks Agarbhai, played a game without expectations, only focusing to improve my position, won with 90% accuracy. Nice. That is the fastest improvement you will ever be able to do.
Even if he doesn't improve in chess, still he improves in this thing.
That is the book which we are reading, which is called Solve for Happy, which says that basically, what is it?
It's a clear formula. Expectation, like your happiness is equal to your expectations. If you do better than your expectations, you are happy. If you do equal to your expectations, you are happy. Anytime you do below your expectation, there comes the sadness or all those emotions, negative emotions.
By the way, f6 is played such a smart move, because if you take with the king, there is a fork. But I think he'll just take with the rook and then what? He wants to take here. But I think he won't even touch it. Yeah, Amruta, he'll just go king h6. Indrajit Devale, who's member for 2 months, says top 2 players from 3 legs qualify for candidates. Yes. And Indrajit, it is like you play 3 events, but you actually play 2. All players play 2 out of 3 events. They don't play all 3. So like Vidit and Harikrishna will play this one and also the next one in Belgrade. But Anish will play in Belgrade and the last one in Berlin. So all players have to play 2 events, and whatever points they score, they are added, and the winner is found.
Okay.
2 winners.
So I'm surprised Rapport and FIDE were still playing. I mean,
no, king h6, it will get over, and now this one also should end, because king h4 and what next? The rook p5.
Shaibi says under 16 and under 20 girls category champion, Kerala state. Okay, excellent. Great consistency.
Yeah.
India, have you read Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel?
Yes, this is something I think we should get at some point. Maybe this is what Vidit was reading at some point. It's a very good book, right?
Yeah, it's a very famous book.
Maybe we'll get it at the right time.
Rosemary has ever heard of GM Pontus Carlson?
Yes, of course. It's not Carlson. His surname is Son, Carlson. And we met him at the World Rapid and Blitz recently. He's doing some tremendous work. Yeah, like he has introduced chess for underprivileged kids, and he does projects. I think he does it in France, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Or maybe he's from Sweden. No. Yeah, Swedish. He's from Sweden.
He's from
Sweden, yeah.
Chandragupta says, very nice of you to actually take suggestions and improve the experience for us. Thanks for being the pillars of Indian chess.
No, I mean, thank you. And we've constantly been thinking how to improve many of the things. And we try to implement as much as we can.
Yeah. Dynamic chess says, please let me know when my 60 memorable games is back in stock.
Yeah,
Sure.
we haven't had that book in stock actually, but we will try to get it because
We'll
it's
try.
one of the classics, you know. So we'll try to get that one.
Akshat says, I don't watch your streams because you guys are so cute together. Makes me sad.
Yes, I think it's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is imagine you might get someone who, and then you are very cute with it, and then everyone else will get sad. So maybe it's good to be happy. And then when you will also, you know, this is actually a very interesting thing which we were discussing. In fact, when I was young and I was trying to get to my IM title, score my norms and all, when someone else would make norms who I thought was similar to my strength, who I would start to get very jealous or like worried, and I would think like, why is he able to do it and why am I not able to do it and stuff. It was quite kind. I think someone told, or maybe it was you or someone told me and said, if you are not happy for them, do you really think anyone will be happy for you when you achieve something? And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And I really don't want everyone else to be kind of sad when I, do something good.
Absolutely. I think it's very important.
Yeah.
Also, it's many times it's two things. One is jealousy, but there is this thing where more than what the other person has got, it's more about what you have, what you think you can do but are not getting. So somewhere doubt, self-doubt. So because jealousy is way harder to kind of overcome, whereas self-doubt is something which is, you start achieving, you start becoming confident, and then it doesn't really matter. Like it's a good thing when other people also get that. So
I think this is something
sometimes-
Amrita is really good at. She never felt jealous for anything. Yeah. She would be in her own things. She would keep improving on her stuff. And also, she was, I think, genuinely happy for the success of other people. So, by the way, we have Flashbin Gaming who has sent his wishes to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Flashbin.
King. Oh, wasn't today the.
Manan Mansalas, which playlist would you recommend for an intermediate player?
What is intermediate? What's your level like? Maybe then I can. So only 3 games going on now, guys. So we were just doing some roundup, right?
Yeah, you can do it. I think India. No, Harikrishna का draw है वो, Vidit का draw हो गया है. So
yeah. So let's end the stream, Amrita, now, because I think Hari will
maybe
draw.
the final you asked him na what is your rating.
Yeah.
So Manan. But
No, I'll
can
just
suggest the
make a.
Okay, so you can. So I'll go now.
You're
You
going.
can give. You're giving the update, no? What
Yes.
are you
Okay.
doing?
Sure. I mean, if you want to.
No, are you going to tell about the games or what are you?
Yeah, I will.
planning? Yes.
I'll do a roundup.
Okay, roundup, right.
We'll do a roundup here, so maybe later you can put a timestamp here in the comments if someone can, and then people can check it out.
Yeah. So guys, thank you very much for all your wishes and everything and all your love shower to us on social media, on Instagram. Thank you so much. So I'm going right now and we had a great day and I hope you guys, whoever want to find, you guys also find that love in your life and are very happy. So like
and
me,
if you find the
thank-
love, Amrita,
Yeah.
then you can give them the Valentine's pack.
Yeah, why not? Surely.
And this is there, guys. You can check it out. It's there. It's a pinned message. It's also the first link in the description. Basically, the Valentine's Day pack was thought of as an idea to teach your loved one how to play chess, and it includes everything. If you are a couple, you can go for the couples pack, which has a couples T-shirt. Also, how to learn chess. You can choose one of the 3, and also you have a chess set, notebook, and Vedika's chocolate. While if you are just looking for one person, then there is a single T-shirt and also how to learn chess set, notebooks, and chocolate. So it's the first link in the description. Check it
Yes,
out.
do check it out and gift your girlfriend a soulmate t-shirts.
Why girlfriend? But girls can also give it to them.
Yeah, but 92% are watching. Generally, they're men, right? So that's why I said.
Okay. Dharmakaran Reddy says, lots of love from Hyderabad, bro. Happy anniversary. Thank you so much, Dharmakaran. A random star kid says, how not to expect someone for anything. This could become a very kind of philosophical session. So, I mean, maybe we can discuss it at some other point. But let's do the roundup now. So starting with first the C group, where we had Vidit against Vincent Keymer. It started off as Vidit with black, and we had this interesting line. I call it the Wesley So Tarash sort of interesting line. Bishop C4 was played by Aronian against Vidit Gujarati in one of the online events, and Vidit and Levon continued this until I think not Rook D7 but F4 was played by Levon, but Rook D7 was played in one of the games, and here Vidit was very well prepared. He gave up a pawn and then he managed to hold a draw here. I think overall with black, when you are able to hold the draw with this much ease, it's actually not a bad result. And this opposite color bishop position, even though Vidit was a pawn down, he managed to hold it quite easily. So Vidit is now off with a half point, but he's last in his group because the other players, Aronian is on 1.5, Dubov is on 1, and Vincent is on 1. The game between Dubov and Aronian ended in a draw, and I think it was quite a smooth draw for Levon, who managed to equalize and draw the game. In the group D, Leinier Dominguez has taken a lead over the field by winning his game against Alexei Shirov. And Leinier Dominguez basically is a tremendously solid chess player, and I think he along with Wesley So are the favorites in the D group. However, Harikrishna put a lot of pressure today on Wesley So, and we are going to look at this game because someone in the chat, one of our viewers, had asked as to how did Harikrishna actually get an advantage here against Wesley So out of the opening, and we will look at it. But I think somewhere Wesley went wrong, and that gave Harikrishna a chance to press. And he won a pawn here, but Wesley was so resourceful that he gave up the pawn very well and brought his king into the game. King on e7, and then defended his pawns, got his rook active, and great defense by Wesley. Right now the game is going on, but it is a draw now. As you can see, I think Hari will take on g6, Wesley will take on g4, and the players will agree to a draw. In group B, we had Radoslav Wojtaszek versus Oparin ending in a draw, but Richard Rapport seems to be winning against Fedosiev, which will mean that Rapport, who lost yesterday against Wojtaszek, will be back, and Fedosiev, who had beaten Oparin, will go down. So we'll have Wojtaszek at 1.5, Rapport at 1, Fedosiev at 1, and half point for Oparin. Meanwhile, in the A group, Backrot versus Grishchuk drew. I think this game had some interesting moments because in the opening, Backrot got a very good position, and maybe if we had gone bishop g3 here, he would have been pressing for a full point, but he couldn't actually. I think he still got a very solid edge, but somehow Grishchuk managed to hold. This is the thing with these top players. But Hikaru Nakamura's game, I think, could be the game of the day. He played brilliantly. In fact, this is really an amazing game to beat Esipenko. I would say why this is amazing is because Esipenko is very much an active player. Hikaru does not play so much of OTB chess, and he still managed to really play well. And I think the very classy moment here was Queen e6, a blunder, where Hikaru played b5, then rook e4, exchanging the rooks, taking on c7, rook d7 check, rook d8, and now finding this brilliant blow, bishop f6, gf6 check, takes check here, and winning this bishop. This queen ending was not 100% clear, but once again Hikaru showing his class, pushing the queen back slowly and steadily, and then eventually came the moment where he has now started to push his kingside pawns. This will be winning. So and I think this will be a great win for Hikaru, who will then lead in the A group, because all the other games, like he will be on 1.5, Esipenko on half, back row, and Grishchuk will be on 1. So that's the roundup, and I think we had Shaibi Binod says, Sagar, I had won Kerala State Championship under 16 and 18 girls category and came first. Fantastic. And I hope that you are learning few things from these streams, and hopefully you will become stronger in your chess. Jai Pandit has sent a super chat saying, congratulations and best wishes for the future. Thank you so much, Jai, for always your support. Okay, and I think, guys, I will end this stream for today, and I will see you all tomorrow. Very important game for Vidit actually against Dubov tomorrow, and also for Harikrishna against Dominguez. I think for Indian players, it's really not going to be easy because they are facing such strong opponents, but they will have to make that push towards it tomorrow before it's too late, because 6 rounds can get over in quick time. Tomorrow will be the 3rd round, and if they both can win tomorrow, they will have realistic chances. Manmai says, do you think reaching 2200 from 1950 is possible in 1 year? I just want to emphasize that do not focus on your rating. Try to focus on what you can improve. Try to see what you are lacking. Try to see if your endgames can be improved, your openings can be improved. Try to see if you can do those little tactical things, improve your speed, do things in your control. Who knows, from 1950 you can reach even 2400. Why to limit yourself? Yeah, I think we read that some quote in some book. Maybe which one was it? Yeah, in this book. It says the biggest tragedy amongst human beings is not that you aim something and you do not reach there, or what was it? But rather that you aim for something low. It's not that you aim for something high and you don't reach there. That's not the biggest tragedy, but you aim for something low and you reach there. So, just do the stuff and let the results take care of themselves. Yeah, one of the things which we had to look at was the game of Harikrishna, and then someone had said, like how did Harikrishna, by the way, Harikrishna drew against Wesley already. So I think I can change this here. Harikrishna drew against Wesley So. Yeah, there you have it. Both Indians drew today, and this analysis is useful for someone who's very much interested in in-depth analysis. Maybe not for everyone. So I'll see how I generally look at openings. So this is all standard A4. So this is, as you can see, this is the 4th most popular move here. First is knight e5, bishop c6, and bishop f1, but A4. Okay, so bishop e7 is the main line, knight c3 by Hari, A6. Now already black can play castles here, but I think d4 leads to interesting play, and white has been scoring pretty okay here. So this is one way to look at it. I also can use an engine to analyze, by the way, here. So if you see, I can load an engine just to get a kind of a sense of where things are going. And I'll reduce it for now, otherwise it might crash. So knight takes d4. Knight takes d4, and white is scoring like really well, 77% here. So I really don't want to go into this position after knight d5. Could be that here there are good chances to hold, but yeah. But knight c3, he went a6, Hari went bishop f1. This a6 seems like the best move, but now he played e4, which maybe is not the best. Yeah, like, okay, according to our cloud engines here, at depth of 62 it is still 0.06, so it's not a bad move. Yeah, maybe it's the most accurate move, and maybe Wesley was prepared. So take, rook takes d5. Sometimes, you try to find an improvement, but these top players have already done their homework. So h3, bishop h5. Hari went bishop e2. Typical Hari move, very careful. d4, bishop d6, and knight e5. I think bishop e2, rook e2. And maybe this is the moment where it went wrong. He took knight e5, I think, and you can see the evaluation really going up. So this is the moment, and generally, you can make some kind of a mark here, and you can say strategical blunder. So there is a medal then, that in rook e2 now knight e5 was, or maybe you can give that move a medal. So maybe I can remove here knight e5, and I can say this is a strategical blunder. Blunder might be too much, but strategical error. Maybe a better solution was to take with the bishop, pawn takes, and d4. And this could have been, but maybe Harikrishna had some ideas like rook a3 with the idea of swinging the rook over. Maybe taking here is not the best. Then maybe rook e8 could be one possibility, trying to put pressure on e5. You take here, take here. But again, I think white is slightly better because black structure is slightly weakened. So, maybe Harikrishna had really put in some effort, yeah, in this entire stuff that he worked on. Perhaps, maybe this is, I don't know, maybe equal, queen e7, could be around something. Okay, Harikrishna became India number 2, and Vidit is India number 3. Okay. It will keep fluctuating in this tournament. I don't know what will happen, but they both are very close. Knight. I don't know if there was an improvement before. bg4 looks logical, or maybe instead of bg4 there was also a possibility to go d4 here. Maybe this is something which there is Karyakin versus Wesley So here. So Hari was actually basing on this game. Harikrishna prepared on this game. And this is where Wesley, maybe Harikrishna was prepared with something like bishop c4 or something here. But Wesley improved over that game with bishop g4. And then Hari was well prepared here. d4, knight e5. So maybe white is slightly better here. But I guess what Wesley did really wrong was take there. And then now rook d2, and it really got worrisome here. Maybe even f4 was a good idea. Play. Hitesh Devala Pelli says, how do these players prepare for matches with other they use ChessBase. This is how, and this is how you prepare, you see the games of your opponent and then you try to prepare. Yeah. Okay, guys, that is where I think the improvement could have happened. I don't think he should have taken here. He should have maybe played rook e8 or bishop e5, and then the game would have been much more easier to hold. But as you can see that the margin of error is sometimes large in chess, and although Harikrishna put a lot of pressure, Wesley So managed to hold it. Well, that's why he's 27. What is his elo? 2772. Okay, guys. Thanks a lot once again, and really enjoyed today's session with Amruta. And soon I'll be back. I also want to stream with Samay a bit and do stuff with him. He's also back to streaming. I think he crashed Chess.com server today with so many people playing. And I mean, when Samay streams, it's great that so many people come back and start playing the sport. So it's very nice. Okay, guys, take care. Good night. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.